Hello and welcome back. I am Darcy Darkness and this is Confessions from the Dark Side, and today we are here to discuss and break down season 9 of Supernatural. So it really is Confessions from the Front Seat of the Impala, which is a supernatural discussion and breakdown series. I'm going to get the disclaimer out the way first because it's me and I cannot be fucking trusted. It's already started, as you can hear. We are full of so much adult content that some of you may think it is unnecessary and some of you may think this isn't needed. If you are one of those people, then thanks for checking us out, but I will say this only once. If you can't stand the heat, then get the fuck out of my kitchen. Now, for everyone else who likes what we have here, then regular scheduled programming will continue. Shall we get started, and are we ready? So, today I invite you to sit back and take in Confessions from the Front Seat of the Impala while I break down and pull apart each and every episode of Season 9. What is your favourite season of Supernatural? Let me know in the comments below. And what is your least favourite season and why? And I always say season 6, but season 9 was a journey to get through. I actually binged watched like 7 episodes and then stopped because I literally lost the will to live. It was terrible. And then I binge watched it over 3 days and finally finished just as the month is about to finish, and I have to edit it for it to be uploaded. So let's see, season 9 recap. So, recap of everything so far: Crowley, the angels, Naomi in heaven, also Marv, who is Metatron, the scribe of God. Everything about the boys is Bond, the family bond, and who do you love? Showing the grace of Castiel being taken and the fall of all the angels as they've lost their grace and they're falling to earth like comets slash meteors. And last trial that Sam performs, that helps Marv's plan come into fruition. Now, season 9, episode 1, I think I'm going to like it here. The boys are driving and the angels are falling, is being described in the media in a true false flag fashion as a meteor shower. And I say this like this because how on earth would you explain all those meteors and comets and that type of shower event? Seems to be more likely an angel falling from grace, and they wouldn't be able to explain that phenomena anyways, as they seem to pray to heaven to God, but likely wouldn't believe the war is going on up there. So Dean says that Sam is the problem. Well done, finally. Dean thinks Sam is dying and he is actually unconscious in a hospital, so he's living in his head. This is where they are trying to see how bad he actually is. Dean, again, back to where his dad was in the hospital in the chapel. He is praying. He always said that praying was begging, and that's why he doesn't do it. It's kind of bringing back memories of when Dean and Sam as well were in the hospital with Charlie and also with Bobby. So even when Lisa was in hospital and him walking away and leaving that life behind, and Sam was his only family, and he's laying there and he's unsure about how he'll get out of this one. So the supernatural screen this season is Burned Angel Wings because it seems to be about an internal war between the heaven and the angels and God, the tablet, the prophets, and everything in between that the scribe of God and the Winchesters and everything so far has become. And symbolising the angels falling from grace and then being expelled from heaven. If you do not agree with the future of heaven through Marv's eyes, who is Metatron, and his way of running things, he seems to think he would do a better job than God himself. What a wee egotistical prick, a wee Napoleon we have here. Yeah, that is correct. Sam has had oxygen deprived from his brain, and the MRI is showing this. He's in a coma, basically, that's keeping him alive. So it's the machines that are keeping him alive. God's hands. That's what the doctor says to Dean, and Dean just gives him a look of, "Are you fucking kidding me? If only you knew what I knew." Basically, music playing. It's a piano piece. It's really sad. This is the end, but we know it's not. Dean is praying to Castiel about Sam being badly hurt. And remember, Dean again doesn't pray. This is his last hope. He's in the chapel. He's speaking to all angels. He says basically, after everything he has done, everything his family has done, all the sacrifices that they have both done, been a hell and back, purgatory, everything for the good of the people and the universe and Earth, doing heaven's work for them. It seems he asks for one favour, and that is to save his brother. And someone hears. Not Castiel though. This is where again an angel ends up inhabiting Sam's body. He says his name is Ezekiel, but is he really? Again, lying, of course. When are the angels never lying? Again, it's do as I say, not as I do type of thing with angels, it seems. And Castiel is a prime example of a son's action gone awry. Look at the shit that he's done. Do you know what I mean? So Dean says he wouldn't ask if it wasn't important. Dean is giving him a heart to heart, a pep talk, and telling him we are not in this car and that this is all you and you are dying, and Sam doesn't believe him. So basically, in Sam's head, he is on a hunt with Bobby, and he's trying to say to him, look, don't do this. Don't make that decision for him. Bobby's basically telling him that it doesn't matter. He has to make the decision for himself. And in true Winchester fashion, that never happens, as they completely destroy each other through this season by saying, you took away that chance, you took away my choice to die, you took away my choices. And they fall out constantly this season, which again is no change to any other season where one of them's either had to die or one of them has been incapacitated. They save each other, but Sam neglects to do a lot of things, and he throws it a lot in Dean's face. But again, Dean is the forever protector and is taking the role of the father from even before their father died. So therefore, he feels like this burden that he's got to save him no matter what, even if he has to make that choice, and that's a bad choice. But again, Sam is ungrateful as fuck when he finds out this. As we know, Sam is an ungrateful little shit. So Castiel can hear his brothers and sisters falling, and all the chaos of them falling to earth. That can't be a nice sound. It can't be, even though he has no grace anymore because Marv, Metatron, removed it, because Castiel thought he was doing right by going into a partnership with Metatron, because he thought because Metatron was the scry of God and he was the word of God, because he actually he was the scribe that did all the tablets and stuff. So he thought he was actually trusting someone as gullible as Castiel is. He went into bed with an enemy that he didn't know because his eyes were shut because he's a gullible sheep. So he has no grace, he has fallen. He's an angel, but without his mojo, basically he can't fly. He can still tune into angel radio, but he has to eat because he's basically human with like a couple of adaptations, but he again can't heal, can't travel, and can't do the things like he once did when he was at full power with his grace, basically. So his potential is out the window. He's just like everyday guy who can't understand people. It's kind of a mindfuck episode because they brought Bobby back. I'm still not over Bobby, but hey. So even Bobby's more nurturing towards Sam in the dream than how Dean actually is. Cass is being watched apparently, and that's why he's warded, so he can't be found by other angels that want to take him down because they know that Castiel did this. They can blame Castiel for the fall of the angels, even though technically it was Metatron's plan to do, but through Castiel. Castiel's the patsy for Metatron, and we find that out through the season that Metatron never gets his hands dirty. He always makes other people do his plan for him so he can walk away and go, I didn't do it, even though technically he did. He just wasn't. It's kind of like the Charles Manson sort of thing that he didn't actually kill the people, but he coerced people to do it. That's pretty much what Metatron does. Castiel finds another, like a young woman that we find out is an angel, but she doesn't want to save Castiel, she wants to kill him. Like everybody. And that's why he's going to go on the run, basically. The angel that ends up in Sam because they trick him to actually let Angel in. A demon can take whatever he wants. They don't need permission to actually become part of that vessel, to live in that vessel. But an angel has to ask permission to become possessed, basically, to live in your. You have to actually you have to give permission, basically. And I hate the fact that they use Ezekiel as the angel. That's one of my favourite kind of angelic names because it can be Zeke. He goes by Zeke, apparently. What's your bets this angel has caused this? Well, Castiel says Ezekiel is a good soldier, but Dina is saying stop looking out for the angels. The war is on, and it was all on him, and he is human, so he's more vulnerable, and the angels are after him. An earthquake at the hospital, and again it goes, what's your bets this angel has caused this? Making Dean move Sam for his safety. Gave me their here poltergeist vibes, put it that way. Basically, then the hospital, there's a big earthquake, noises, etc., glass breaking. Someone has an angel blade and they're basically trying to come for Castiel. And that's why he can't have Castiel actually around Sam, even though Zeke doesn't want Castiel to be part of the Scooby Gang. I know it's from Buffy. It was weird because he didn't want Castiel around him because Castiel would be able to tell he wasn't who he was. That's what I really, really think, because obviously he says that Ezekiel was a really good soldier. He fought by his side. He was a good guy. If they can tell who you are and who you aren't, then he would be able to flag that when Sam was walking about and just being Sam, that the angel inside him keeping him together because he is more injured than what Dean has actually admitted to Sam. So he's lied to Sam about being possessed about almost dying and being kept alive by a machine. And he's sent Castiel away because Zeke said, look, he can't be there if Cass is there, which again is a big red flag. But Dean can't see anything right now. He's blinded because his brother was sick, his brother was dying, and his brother was going to die. And he didn't want to be alone, so therefore that's why he had accepted and tricked Sam to accepting the angel's invitation of inhabiting his body and healing him. If you can actually see, he was healing him. We hear a familiar voice, and it's Death. He says, hello, Sam, I've been waiting for you. He didn't get a Reaper, he actually got Death himself. How special is Sammy Winchester for getting Death himself? Death said he heard it was Sam and he had to come himself. He said, well played, my boy. If I go with you, that this time it will be final. If I am dead for good, and no one else gets hurt because of me. Dean has been shown what is happening right now in Sam's mind with Death, so he tells the angel to do it. Yeah. The angel, when he actually goes into his body, Sam can't eject him because that could kill him. That's the thing. Zeke doesn't actually. You find out that Zeke obviously is in hiding because of obviously his real identity. Spoiler, sorry. But I've seen, like I said, these seasons, and Zeke isn't who he claims to be. Apparently, he said he's inside Sam, and Sam won't be aware that he's inside him. Now, these inside jokes and euphemisms had me laughing this season because I'm that immature. So Cassie's L is down to his pants in a laundromat washing his bloody clothes, but he is unsure on washing his clothes or eating something from the vending machine. He's got human first world problems. He looks like he's stolen someone else's washing, and the sexy flasher coat is gone now, so he doesn't have his raincoat. Again, playing with his memories, playing with reality, so you cannot know what the angel is doing and being inside him. We have heard this before when he was being possessed by Lucifer, where he was aware of things going on and he could see things through Lucifer, even though Lucifer was possessing his body. But this is different with this angel because he flip flops in between Sam and the angel. And again, you get to see how good Jared actually is because he's got to play two people. He's very, very good at that. The wall, the history repeating itself, basically. Remember, don't scratch, don't tear down the wall. This isn't a wall or anything. He's supposed to be there to keep him alive, so he heals him. Why does Dean think this time will be any different to someone lying? Even an angel lying? We know they're dicks, so I don't understand why it's so difficult. Lying to each other has worked out so well in the past, hasn't it? Devil May Care, season 9, episode 2. Now, body being dragged in a body bag, interesting. Cass's human demon is trying to. Dean is trying to explain to Sam that he isn't so sure what this means or what Marv is talking about. Crowley's in the trunk of the Impala. What would Sam Winchester do? Be gullible and trust the wrong people and almost destroy the universe in the process of realizing you made the biggest mistake of your life. A demon in a meat suit manages to successfully bring Abaddon to him. Looks like she is naked. Kevin, you're alive and you're a terrible shot. Dean to Kevin. The bunker went into lockdown and Kevin freaked out because we find out that there's a security system in the bunker. If anything is triggered, like heaven, hell, demonic, it completely shuts everything down for the protection of the information and the people inside the bunker, which is a good thing for a secret society of professional hunters, I would say. Kevin isn't aware of who's riding in Sam at this point. Yes, I said that. Hello, Crowley, to the boys. And then he is punched. He is chained up and they want everyone who is a demon and possessing humans. You have no leverage, darling, you have nothing. Sam putting the Sam into S&M. Oh, Crowley. Crowley is now all left all alone. Ice cream and strippers as a reward for taking out Crowley and the demons. Ooh, goody Dean, Kimmy's go start. Abaddon is just introducing herself and asking why is hell the way it is, because apparently she doesn't like the way Crowley has managed it. She's asking who put Crowley in charge. She believes they shouldn't be making deals, they should just be taking everything they want and go to hell and they will bow to her. Crowley's dead. Abaddon, to his followers, they don't believe he is dead. Abaddon sends a message by exorcising the demon out of the meat suit and sending it straight to hell. Say that she is coming for everyone. Of course she is. Dean is spreading the word about finding out more information. A bus with troops in it ends up being possessed by demons that were at Crowley's lair, and now they are in better vessels, stronger vessels. A girl seems to be a hunter, has posed as a dumb girl with her car broken down at the side of the road and gets a guy to help. He's a vampire and she takes him out, and the troops with demons riding in them kidnap her. Kevin, what did you do? After he tells the army official about her holiday in Cabo, because he tries to cheat Kevin like a dumbass because because he looks younger than she thinks he is, and also she basically says that he's hacked into basically her social media and said that he's going to tell everybody what the fuck she did in Cabo, basically, which I think is incredibly funny. So this whole place is poison, and Dean covers his cock, and Sam replies with, "Wouldn't work. What is her? What is she trying to imply? Is Dean unclean?" The boys rescue two hunters who were captured. What's on your mind, Kevin? I torture all my friends. That's how I show I love them. That is Crowley talking to Kevin. Crowley is saying you do that, little man, let it all out. Come and get you, dick. And they have recorded this to escape. Dean is giving the hunters a pep talk in Dean fashion, yet I don't trust them. The guy hunter is a traitor, no shit. Way too easy to rescue. Abaddon is wearing a bulletproof vest and Dean throws holy water on her and she replies with alone at last as he sent the young hunter to get more supplies. Sam getting his ass handed to him, as you do. The Winchester's suicidally stupid and obedient. Are we going to make out as I'm getting mixed signals? Dean to Abaddon. She wants Crowley for her power play. She wants his body so she can be the powerful Queen of Hell and show that she took out the predecessor, basically. Even though she's Abaddon, she's the first Knight of Hell and apparently unkillable. Which we find out later on the season there is something that can kill her. Yes, yes. Why she couldn't take over Hell anyway if she was stronger and older than Crowley is beyond me. The angel inhabiting Sam's body is awake and takes out the demon troops and says she's an angel, and then she throws Dean through the window. Angel manipulating Dean and saying what he did for Sam was for love, manipulation and twisting his words for his own outcome. Dean says he hopes Zeke is a good guy, and he replies with a bad guy would do that. Double cross the double cross. Yes, double crossing the double cross. Sam wakes up and is like, you took 3 demons out all on your own, and he manages to sell it. Now they're off in the Impala with a young girl hunter, but she hasn't returned with them, and they call Kevin. Fair trade for the enjoyment Kevin gave him. He's my new favourite toy. Wind him up and watch how he goes. The boys are having heart-to-hearts again. Drinking, are you ready for it all? Dina's like, we're living in a frickin' sitcom. That's what it feels like because there's a lot of butt-hurt feelings and BS, it seems. Sam is feeling better for the first time in a while and he's happy about his life at the moment. If only he actually knew. Things are good. Sam to Dean. Are they though? Never better. Dean to Sam in the bunker, and the camera pans around, showing Dean sitting back and Sam journaling in the Men of Letters journals as a wee routine after the battle to document everything. I'm No Angel, episode 3 of season 9. The recap: Angels fallen from grace. How they are all pissed at Castiel. Zeke fixing Sam from the inside out. Crowley and Abaddon. Angels on the hunt for Cass. Castiel's looking like a bum and he's using the name Clarence. Yes, the name that Meg gave to him. Don't we all miss Meg? She was sassy and funny all at once. He isn't used to urinating and can't get used to it. See, these are the silly wee statements that I like when Castiel is human or when Castiel doesn't understand things. He just comes out with randomly blunt statements, and that's similar to what I can be like. Castiel has found blood in its trailing, and a priest has no eyes. 2 even are on pipe. Sam went running, and Dean is like, you have went through the trial. Yeah, Sam and Dean, basically, it's kind of Dean still watching out for him, telling him you've been through a lot. Again, lying to him, but not lying to him, but not telling him the whole story or letting him see the bigger picture, which again is abuse in itself. There's a faction on the rise that are basically trying to fight for who's going to be the powerful, all-seeing, all-being God, or new God, should I say, in heaven. Who's going to start dishing out smites and who's going to be the new ruler of, well, Earth, humans, heaven, the lot. Ezekiel has been hearing angel radio or dick radio, not Dick Roman, angels are dicks, remember? Apparently, again, talking about the faction on the rise. Switches back straight away, it flip-flops between Sam and Zeke quite quickly. Sam never left. Dean says whiplash, Sam says what? Because he said it's whiplash with the fact that he can flip-flop between Sam and Zeke really quickly, like nothing had happened. Dana strongly cope with the changes of the angel as it can be so quickly. Bartholomew is one of the angels who's now possessed a body using also a TV preacher to get humans, to convince humans to let angels in. And that's how the angels are getting bodies. Some of the bodies are being rejected because they are not the vessels that they're supposed to be, which Castiel has spoke about in the past in previous seasons, that your body, the vessel that an angel can inhabit, there's only certain ones that they can do for long periods of time. They can jump into any body, but it's not their body. They can also leave a trace of their grace, as it were, like a fingerprint in that body, and you can't remove it apparently. So, yeah, there is that. So Bartholomew is the one of the factions, because there's many factions within the angels who are literally fighting each other, killing each other, all because they all want to take Daddy's place. This is what basically this is. Castiel's on the run still, and every time he stops, people seem to die. It's like they're catching up with him, basically. A stranger gives Cass a PB&J sandwich and feels sorry for him, invites him to stay at our house. Yeah, because that sounds legit and would happen. We find out that she's actually a Reaper, and she has captured him. After they have sex, he finds out that she's not who she claims to be, because Gastiel is just a sad wee guy who just looks for attention and love in all the wrong places. Even when he's an angel, even when he's human, dictator, whatever, when he thinks he's God, possessed, etc., he's still the same character. He still just is looking for attention. Sam and Dean are torturing a bounty hunter. They find out Naomi is dead, or is she? Because she never tell with Naomi because she's so full of shit. Castiel, you dog. Getting some army, no shame, mate. Castiel actually turns around and goes, was it correct? What the actual fuck? I assume it was. Taking on a heavy load for a sweet guy, heavy load, yes. After what you just did. Castiel's Angel Blade. Hello, Clarence. Are you taking over the throne of Sam Winchester? It seems so. I don't know who's worse in this season, Sam. Dean. Crowley is gullible in this season, and also everyone who comes into contact with Metatron is a gullible sheep. We find again the angel inhabiting Sam isn't really a team player. I had to gain your trust, and that included intercourse, lol. Castiel's response. Yes, like I said, he's very blunt, very direct. These blades are marvelous, aren't they? I was naive. I had no idea he was planning what he was planning. He lied to me. Castiel talking about Metatron, how Castiel was the final piece of the puzzle. He needed his grace to complete the spell and the ritual for the angels to be casted out of heaven and to fall. Are you negotiating with me, Castiel, the angel to cast, and then Dean enters, also to the rescue to save Crash, but the damage to his human vessel, as he has no angel powers, only knowledge that about but Zeke, who is riding in Sam, brings him back. He gives mixed messages, this angel, that he wants to help angels and other people, but he's staying in Sam, keeping them together, not actually healing him, by the way, it seems, and just hiding out because he's basically on the run himself. Dean, never do that again. Castiel, she stabbed me and I don't appear to be dead. Dean lies and says if he's not letting her go, he would save Castiel, and then said you lied again, making up shit to protect his secret. Sam is wondering how he knew where Castiel was. Castiel is enjoying everything bunker. He loves it in there. Dean, it's not all about burritos and strippers. Really? Castiel? Or hedonism and having sex with April? Did you have protection? I had my angel blade? Oh. That's not what he was asking. Are there more burritos? That's what Castiel asked. Thinking about his stomach, because he's human now and he obviously cannot go about his life without eating and urinating, apparently. So Zeke is trying to put Dina against Castiel, and everyone is in danger, and putting Sam in danger again. What a dick you are, Zeke. Why is Castiel such a burden and tells him he can't stay? So Dean kicks out Castiel, doesn't he? Even though they're friends and they've been through a lot together. Slumber Party, Wizard of Oz episode again. I fucking hate this episode. I like it because they bring Charlie into it, because she's literally living in a fantasy world. She continuously does. Love Felicia Day, and she's so good as Charlie. So it just recaps all the things Charlie, everything from the first episode that she was in, up into her research about the hunters and the Minor Letters, and how she became a temporary hunter, or a hunter in training, even though they've told her not to because it's a dangerous job. And she's like, even though she's incredibly smart and very good at what she does, the hunter life is not for everybody, and most people end up dying for the greater good, or what they think is the greater good, and they're just trying to protect her. So Dorothy was on a mission from the past, and she goes black and white, and then she brings the Wicked Witch to the Men of Letter bunker. Her dad was a Man of Letters, I think, and he was also a writer. He wrote the stories about Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz and the universe that she was from. So the stories were real based on her adventures in Oz. Crowley is in their basement in the bunker. Crowley, hello Moose. He's all chained up, just the way I like him. He was trolling Sam as per usual. I wonder how he's not noticed how he's different, because again, he is different and he is a demon. He's the king of hell. He'd be able to tell that Sam is not himself, even though Sam is Sam, but Zeke is inside of him, which is dodgy as fuck every time I say it. Sam doesn't understand why Cass left or why Cass was sent away. So at this point, I don't think he that knows that that Dean has sent him away on purpose. So each light that fell, the grace to track the computer in the basement in a security system, and when the angels fell, the bunker went into lockdown, made to protect everything and everyone inside. There's a computer, but they ain't sure what it's been powered from and what it is, and that's why they did the full Charlie recap, because they're bringing her in, because computers are her bestiality. There's like a silver degree smoke that comes out of a jar that's been knocked over, and that's got the Wicked Witch, and the Wicked Witch ends up and that's how we get Dorothy coming through a door from a different place looking for the witch. Again, she's been missing for 75 years and hasn't aged. Because, yeah. Again, Crowley helps said Wicked Witch to a point, but what else is he going to do? He's basically chained up in a basement as a slave for nothing. She wants the key to Oz, basically. Zeke keeps coming in and out of this episode. Apparently, Poppy bullets hurt her. Charlie asks Dorothy not to ruin her childhood fairy tales, because Dorothy tries to, because she's trying to tell us a reality behind some of the stories that her father wrote about her world and their world for that matter. But she wants to be best friends with Dorothy, but they end up in a relationship, I think. That's the way it's portrayed later on. Dorothy's a freedom fighter, apparently. Dorothy opens the doors to Oz, and AC/DC for those about to rock. We Salute You is playing, and then Dorothy and Charlie go through the door, and then it disappears. She goes with Dorothy so she can help her with magical hunting. It's actually really pretty inside. And then Sam says there's no place like home, which is what Dorothy says in The Wizard of Oz. And kind of sentence her and grounds her in the film. So again, that's a pointless episode. It was just showing you like the Men of Letters 75 years ago, and the stuff that they actually did is kind of incredibly similar to what they do now. But they seem to be more organised 75 years ago compared to what they are now. Episode 5, Season 9, Dog Dean. Right, this is Dog Dean Afternoon. It's a filler, but I really like this episode. Recap, Sam Hart and Zeke use his body to heal both him and so on. They bring Cass back and then they throw him out again. Every time I use my power, it weakens me, and that's Zeke going on about it, but it's not. He's just talking bullshit. It's showing you basically a recap of Becky being told everything is real. Also, God wants us to carry on. Dad wants us to carry on the family business. Dean, I am Batman. Sam, I lost my shoe. This crazy guy is usually a musician who plays this weird guy. He's like taking out animals. You find out basically this guy is killing and taking animals and cooking them. He's a chef. Dean ends up taking a spell that he drinks it, and he can hear not just all animals. He's like a dog basically, and Sam laughs about it. So you can hear the dogs talking in the pound and all the animals talking in the pound, and then we find out that the chef had cancer and no treatment was working. So he found out from like a shaman and a voodoo expert that if he killed and ate these animals, he would be able to part of the animal and help heal himself. So like he gets a temporary, like their temporary abilities or the things that they can do, like snake, rats. He doesn't kill dogs, but he's done it for like many other animals as well. So yeah, and find out that that's what he's doing. That's how he can stay strong, and that's why he doesn't die. And when he is fighting, he finds out that Sam isn't because he tastes his blood and he was just like, there's something different about you and you're my main course type of thing, because that doesn't sound creepy at all. Then Dean becomes attached to this German Shepherd. The German Shepherd's about to say that the dogs aren't man's best friend, they were actually sent to Earth for. Then the dog starts barking and you don't really hear anything else. The best part in that episode is when Dean is barking you at the postman, because you know how dogs absolutely despise the postman for some reason. But that was really funny to watch him basically turning from Dean to dog, which was funny. So the spell takes ages to wear off. I can't stop thinking about what that guy said. What are you? Sam is going on about what the chef said, and Dean is lying through his teeth again. Lying through your teeth like that? When does that ever work out for those guys? So episode 6 is episode Can Wait of season 9, and there's again another recap. Angels possessing humans through the TV preacher, Crowley and Abaddon, Helen, and the Bleeder. Zeke talking about how Castiel has to leave. Castiel being thrown out by Dean. They're in Rexford, Idaho. A call to a suicide hotline, and a man's upset and he ends his life. Did the lady from the hotline send you? No, you did. And then a light, then nothing. Angel wings from Supernatural opening. So angels seem to be becoming the monsters this season. They are all dicks, remember, so that's not anywhere near being far-fetched. Them actually being as bad, if not worse, than demons and Lucifer himself, I suppose. Castiel is working in a gas station. His name is Steve, and he is mimicking humans because he technically is one, but he just doesn't know how to behave like one. Kevin has hit a wall with the translation on the angel tablet, another dead end, but he has had to translate it into another language to get one clue of a footnote of Metatron, also known as Marv, that he's talking about the falling angels and the spell that he needed to do to actually cast them out, because he wants to start again in his own image, because apparently he thinks he can do a better job than God. He can call Castiel and now he needs help, but he is hiding it from Zeke. Cass looks confused. He thinks he's been asked out on a date by his boss, but he's not. She's using him to babysit so she can go on a date and her child gets sick. We find out there's an angel coming down, and actually his job was to actually seek out pain and basically get rid of everything that is surrounding that pain, even if it's something simple. He doesn't understand because he's not been on Earth for a long time, like Cass has, to adapt. He's been there for years, so he can understand between like regular pain and suffering and someone who's actually suffering. So he's just killed a bunch of people that he thinks wanted to die, which again, you hear these things that angels are for protection. They're not there to kill you, but this angel is not. He's not really an angel of death, I would say. He was more of a, now that he's been not even cast out, he has to feed his pain as food to him. It's like sustenance, and basically the more he takes out the people in pain, the better it is for him type of thing. But he's taking out the wrong fucking people. He tries to take out the baby that Cass is babysitting because they've got like an infection. It's nothing to do with, being in physical pain. So he protects the baby basically. What happens when this guy takes you out? The room turns pink. Yes, pink. You heard that right. The one colour I fucking hate. Castiel is a very cringy person as a human being. Even though he's trying to be fit in, he just comes across as cringy and weird, and not in a good way. Castiel is still holding on to the fact that not sure what happened between Dean and him, and he's trying to figure out why the fuck he kicked him out in the fucking first place, and nothing really adds up. He's been kicked out in Narnia, so he doesn't understand. We all know what he's up to if you've seen this season, but I'm not sure if you guys do. Kylie is being sarcastic as usual and said he has requested for new reading material for weeks, but he doesn't want to help out. He was only saved for his uses, but he's giving them nothing. That sounds about right. Crowley, basically, he rubs everybody up the wrong way, and he's the one who's the prisoner, and they need him, and he knows that, so he's basically cutting his nose off and being a dick about it. Dean, this is bad. This is very bad. Special class of angel, like I said, they're like medic about the angel that's killing people and how much pain is pain, and everyone is fair game apparently, and that's why he's been doing what he's been doing. Castiel says he needs a ride because he cannot fly. He does realise, him being human, about the struggles it is to be human and how he's not a full angel. So he does have things that he cannot do anymore, and I think he realises he may have abused the fact that he could just literally jump from one part of the world to another with like in a heartbeat basically. it will probably be more difficult for him to actually wrap his head around the fact he can't do these things anymore. Ephraim said he's actually was here for Castiel because his pain was louder than anyone else's, which is, again, he's punishing himself for his part in the Angel Tablet trials that Metatron gullibly allowed him to believe that he was doing something for the greater good, to help the angels, to help heaven, to restore things in heaven, and having to go back to the way it was before Naomi and before all the craziness, before the angels went rogue and actually started to take out humans. So he feels tremendous guilt and tremendous pain because he'd done this to his brothers and sisters when he had no idea that this was going to happen, because Metatron manipulated him into thinking that this was a good thing to do. And we all know that Castiel is easily manipulated, easily led, and Metatron knew that because he is the scribe of God and he knows the stories and he knows exactly what will happen next. He just can't execute this shit himself. So Dean apologises for kicking Castiel out, but he asks why. Ephraim, he does say that the angels are lost and Castiel wants to help even though he caused this. Thought he was doing the right thing by his family, and he wasn't. Marv tricked him. Episode 7, Bad Boys, it's filler, and it's Dean's character. Season 9, Episode 7. Recap. All the past looking out for Sam and Dean throughout the ages of childhood and how he does everything to save him, including everything with Zeke. It's a flashback to when Dean was a bad kid, and he was sent to this like remand home type place where they send children who commit crimes, like petty crimes and stuff. It's kind of like to kind of rehabilitate them so they don't do that into their late teens and their adulthood, so they can like show them what their life would be like if they ended up going down the same path. His dad found him apparently and kept him there because he believed he needed to learn a lesson. He lost money for food while his dad was off doing whatever the fuck he was doing and left his teenage son to look after his younger son. So again, shirking his responsibilities as a father, he says he was doing for the greater good, and Dean having to act like an adult before he was even ready to be an adult, and his dad just thought, you know what, I'll just fuck off, leave my kids, and he can just deal with the consequences of his own actions of being a child and just wanting to be a child for one night that he didn't get to do because of the type of life they have. And you know how I feel about Daddy Douchebag? He's a bit of a cunt and he doesn't deserve to basically be punishing his son for something he was trying to do that he shouldn't have been doing anyway, but he shouldn't have been having the life he had. They leave him there, and Dean ends up doing really well at school. He ends up with friends. He ends up with a life. Sam doesn't know about this 6 months where he was away. Dean even had a girlfriend and he was like really happy and he had changed and turned his life around. But Sam was told that he disappeared. Now, if your kid disappeared for 6 fucking months, what the fuck? You would be looking for him, yet he didn't seem to look for him, and Sam thought that was okay because his dad told him. Sam, again, gullible his entire life, it seems, and didn't ask any fucking questions. But this place is going mental and people are being killed on this, like, farm. The guy who was there when Dean was there calls him because if anything weird happened, because he didn't believe that what Dean actually was doing with his father was actually something that he was doing, like the supernatural as they were doing. The EMF goes nuts, and we find out that every time this wee boy Timmy is around people, that people don't have a long life, put it that way, and people end up dying. You find out that he actually was found in a building. He was in a car accident, and his mum saved him from being killed. She was killed in an explosion after the car crashed, and then he escaped with the only possession he had was this doll, and that's where you find out that the action figure actually is tethered to his mum, and his mum is protecting him from bullies and protecting him from people that she thinks could be causing her son harm, even from beyond the grave. And she's in the veil, she's still protecting her son like any parent would do, no matter what. In this world and the next, they would protect their child at all costs. He has to tell his mum to stop because she's becoming a vengeful spirit because she can't move on because she thinks that he needs him and he doesn't need her. Yes, technically he does, but there's people there to look after him. People are not going to stop dying unless he tells her to move on, which he does, as upsetting as it is, because if he doesn't, she'll become more violent and she could end up hurting him, which, again, a mother would not want to hurt her own child, even if she couldn't control it. She would feel incredibly difficult, even as a vengeful spirit. And then It flashes to a memory past and how John was a willful father and how selfish he was. So yeah, that was that filler episode, kind of tying in the fact that Daddy Douchebag took him away from a normal life. Because again, we don't even see the normal life with Sam. We see it with Sam, but we never see it with Dean. So Dean actually did have a normal life for 6 months, and that 6 months would have been probably the best time that he had with everything that they've been through, and John took it away from him again. We have episode 8 of season 9, Rock in a Hard Place. Recap: Crowley being more human than he realises and trolling Sam. Jodie in her introduction to hunters in the weird and wonderful Winchester world. Girl hands over food to a guy and calls him Slim. She hears a noise, runs, bad move, then trips, and then under her car keys go into the car. She has a taser and she tasers something covered in electricity and she's lifting her vehicle and she is put in a bin or something. So there's been 4 abductions. Only connection to each other is the church that they're from, and apparently Jodie now goes to church because she needs something to believe in, even though she must know that there is no kind of God in the way church is actually seen with the things that they see, good versus evil, but she needs this. And like I said, if it works for you, you're not hurting anybody or yourself. I don't have a problem with people who have faith. It's people who try to push that faith on others that I have a problem with. Super strength and abductions. Blue light is like fire. They find out it's an ancient goddess who needs 6 virgins apparently. And apparently virgins were given to her back in the day, but it's back like they had the episode with Paris Hilton where she was like this Greek god. She's a Greek god that basically became false idols basically because that's what the world is doing. They don't worship gods anymore, they worship false idols, social media, things like that. That's what she's butthurt about. There's all these born again Christians who are taking a vow of chastity. And you find out that one of the members of said group is the goddess herself. So they're taking out people, including a born again Christian who was a porn star that Dean recognises and then goes through her stuff and finds out she was a porn star. Yeah. And if you break your vow of chastity, then you have to die. You have to die, apparently. So Jodie again gets hurt in the line of the hunter world, and it's her shoulder. And again, I think Dean feels incredibly bad when she does get hurt because they see Jodie not just as a hunter, and she was friends with Bobby, and she was the sheriff of the town that Bobby was from. There was a love-hate relationship between her and Bobby. And remember, she actually was the one who was washing the floor during the whole Leviathan thing, and the borax was the thing that actually damaged the Leviathan. It was her cleaning Bobby's house as a favour for everything that he did that gave them something on how to take out the Leviathan. So she has had her moments, and it's nice that they do bring her back every once in a while, but she ends up becoming like a main member of that world, even though she is a sheriff. So I do feel that Dean felt guilty about her getting hurt because they've lost so many people. Bobby, Joe, Rufus. They've also lost Ellen, lost her dad, even though he's a dick. They've lost a lot of people in this just by people trying to protect others. Episode 9, Holy Terror. Angels are dicks. Yes, they are. Recap: Follow the angels from grace. Dean praying for Sam and begging for another option. Him kicking out Cass for Zeke. Bartholomew using the TV preacher to find vessels for fallen angels. Kevin is a prophet of the Lord, and he is there to translate the tablet. Sam knowing he's not right when has he ever been right? It's always about Sam. He's such an attention seeker. There's a choir singing This Light of Mine on a bus, and they go into a biker bar. It's a glee club, and they're just like these kind of very pure looking women that are into this biker bar, and you find out that they're both from different factions of the angels and they're fighting against each other because they are trying to start a war here on earth for heaven. So they're taking out the competition and they're wanting people to bend the knee to their cause. Again, it's a war, people. So they made it stereotypical bikers as well, but they were listening to shite music, drinking shite booze, and have shite motorcycles outside. But hey, so Dean asks Zeke, "Is he better? I want my brother back." Zeke doesn't want Dean to investigate the angel bullshit, of course. Zeke isn't eavesdropping, haha. He just hears some things now and then. I don't believe him. Malachi, a new angel, top level summon. I don't deal with handmaidens. Again, they chastise a lot of people, I've noticed. if they're higher like angels, when they want people to actually join their side, they should maybe stop being assholes to each other and actually work as a fucking team rather than I'm better or bigger or more powerful than you. It's not a penis measuring contest. It really feels like that with angels. It really, really does. Castiel reminiscing about April the Reaper and how she was hot and nice until she started torturing him. Some people actually pay for that. So, Zeke, what are you going to do about this, Dean? What are you afraid of, Zeke? I chose side. Dean, what makes you so special? Yes, why are you so special? What are you hiding? Marv, also known as Metron, I know who you really are, and it isn't Ezekiel. So who is Ezekiel then, if not who has been hiding in plain sight? And hiding, I mean using Dean and Sam. For what? He's a good and honourable angel, which is the opposite of who he is. Gadget. God's most trusted to protect the garden, and then he was punished for a life of it in eternity because he let in the snake. He let in evil. So he's been in jail basically for an insanity since this happened. He had one job and he fucked it. So, yes, and in jail and got out when the fall of the angels happened. Marv keeps saying, which is Metatron, that he did what he did to let him out. That's absolute bullshit. I don't think he knew exactly what the fuck was going to happen on the trials. Yes, he wrote down the word God, but God isn't there to give him the word of God to write, even though he is the scribe. So you just find out that no one is in heaven anymore, and Gadriel isn't happy about it, but reshape, redesign heaven in his own image. Can you imagine that wee shite? Metatron. It's a fucking wee dick. Reclaim heaven as it was now, as he used another dumb as fuck angel to do his dirty work, which is a douchey thing to do. So the deaths of the angels on Angel War, the different teams and what they want for the future of heaven and the war between the factions. They are all trying to get angels into bodies by manipulating sheep, which is the general population of Earth, to let them ride in their meat suits. Yes, I said that again, but that's how dirty they make it sound. Castiel is praying and he's seeking guidance and wants some sort of sign. What sort of fucking sign when you know there's no one fucking listening? Muriel, an angel, appears and she said she can't be seen speaking to him or meeting him. Castiel is number one enemy hit list for everyone, it seems. Dean realises the Glee Club were at both places of the murders, and he realises in his wee brain is working to find out that there is a bigger plan in play, basically. So Castiel is warded, but he's trying to explain what happened and why and what is the plan. Neutral angels are being killed, so see if you don't choose a side, you're being killed. So even though they want peace and they don't want to fight with their brothers and sisters, you have to fucking die. Because that sounds like legit, doesn't it? That you kill someone who's neutral and doesn't want to fucking take part in it, so you just fucking kill them anyway. Fuck's sake. Overthrow Metatron is the aim. The guy who kicked everybody out, you're just going to try and overthrow him. Okay, you don't know what the fuck cards he's fucking hiding, because he's one of those poker players that's probably fucking got the cards up his sleeve, because he's a cheating bastard. Castiel is captured and is being tortured and he's all chained up. So you're guilty or die. All news on Metatron. Virtue is its own punishment and the other angels take out Muriel. Just following your example, Castiel. Don't ask for mercy, there is none. I need to speak to Metatron to raise me to heaven. I will be Metatron's soldier. I can speak to him about restoring your grace. Castiel is telling him everything he wants to hear. He's a team player. He wants to sit out in heaven as this war is going to be a killer. The angel lets him go. Even I could tell that there was some piss poor manipulation. Castiel has stole the angel's grace. This is only a temporary solution because if you take someone else's grace, then it can the quicker you put someone else's grace into you, the quicker it basically is absorbed and then dissipates basically. If you don't have the right mojo, as it were, then you're basically playing on borrowed time. We don't know how long it lasts. And for him to continue to be strong, have his angel powers and everything, he would have to continuously keep refueling the fire, which means taking out other angels and taking their grace. Something that Castiel probably wouldn't do if this was like when he first came into it, when he saw angels as these beings that were like precious and sacred. He would never do anything because he's a good wee soldier, as he keeps saying, manipulating little gullible shit that he can be, Castiel. But his heart's in the right place, but he never really thinks about his actions when he's doing them. It's just that he ends up punishing himself later on. So him being tortured by people is basically him getting punished in some sort of way, no doubt. Marv doesn't get his hands dirty, we've known that. And now he needs a new patsy because he doesn't have Castiel to do what he needs him to do anymore because he's finished with him now. His part is over. So he's now using Gadriel, who is in Sam's body, to do that. Kevin is like, what the fuck is going on? And Dean won't tell him as he's trying to protect him. Dean has got Sam and he started the sigil, and Dean's admitting that when Sam was in a coma and he trusted the wrong angel and let him in, he admitted to tricking Sam while he was in his coma. Sam and Dean fighting about choices. The angel lied to Dean, and now both Zeke is dead as he died in the fall. So we find out that Zeke had died in the fall, and that kind of puts a span on the works, because like, who the fuck is he then if he's not Zeke? Again, Gadriel took a chance, became someone else who Dean doesn't know, that somebody didn't know, and then used that because he needed him. There was no other choice. So he did rip the fucking piss and do that. Dean has actually asked Kevin to find a spell because he wants to cast out Zeke or Gadriel from Sam's body, but Sam has to be able to do it without Zeke taking over his body. So they basically need a spell to do so, and that's what Kevin ends up doing. Now Marv has got into bed, with Gadriel. He has told Gadriel everything that he wants to hear. Like, he was right. That he had one job, and for him to repent and seek forgiveness for the things he did eons ago with letting the serpent into the Garden of Eden, that he can make things right by doing these tasks that he wants him to do, which is taking out a bunch of people that are going to cause Metatron trouble, including Kevin Tran, who is the prophet right now. If he gets rid of all the prophets, then no more prophets can be born, and no one can actually stop him ever for when he takes over heaven. Yeah. It's never good. Sam and Dean are fighting about choices. The angel lied to Dean, and now both Zeke is dead, that he died in the fall, like I said. Dean gets knocked out by Sam, but it's not Sam, it's Zeke. Zeke kills Kevin in Sam's body. Dean is too late, he doesn't get there in time, and Zeke basically, there's no more Sam, basically. He's walking about in Sam's body, but Gadriel is holding the reins, basically. Zeke did what he had to. Gadriel did what he had to, because he felt like he had to, because Metatron it explained this elaborate story, and he believed him, just like Castiel. He heard everything that Dean and Kevin discussed, and then he altered the sigils for the spells so that Sam couldn't cast them out, and he also played Sam, and Dean didn't notice, which was funny. So Dean keeps saying Kevin as he cries for him. He has lost Sam again. We need to put a bell on him, and now Kevin. So episode 10, Road Trip. Or the recap is all about Gadriel and Zeke, all his past with Heaven, with the brothers, and now Marv. Now it's Castiel talking about angels slaughtering each other, and now he had to become the type of angel he used to take down. Abaddon talking about how she would rule hell. Dean is giving Kevin the Hunter's Marble he needed. Sad song. Dean's looking at Kevin's last resting place and all the stuff with the tablet and his phone and the picture of him and his mother. And Dean is really struggling. As the light fades from the screen, the famous final scene, the song playing as he's grieving for everyone he's lost. A pop star, it seems, an angel has taken up his vessel. Why would an angel... Why be an angel when you can be a god? Gadriel is talking to this angel, and he doesn't like him, and he has his angel blade. You find out that this angel that's inhabiting the pop star actually was in jail with Gadriel in heaven. He says, I'm sorry, and lights out another one off the list. So he's taken out another person off of Metatron's list. Castiel realised Dean isn't okay, no shit. They are going to use Crowley, as he's got into an angel's had wiring before. Castiel says they could bypass it, and Crowley is the only one who can, which he did last season, I believe. But he asked for a massage from Kevin, like he's been a complete dick in true Crowley fashion. And then he actually finds out from the facial expression of Dean that obviously Kevin is no more. And he actually had a bit of a decency to say that he warned Kevin being in Team Winchester will kill him. So he did actually be genuinely, holy shit, he's dead kind of thing. Has the giant baby got himself into trouble? This is Crowley talking about Sam. Yes, of course. Casting, well, it's actually Dean that did it, so it's your place to obey. Metatron to Gadriel. I love how Metatron seems to think that he's the more dominative when he manipulates weaker people to do things for him, when he's just as weak, if not more, than the people he manipulates. Someone makes a call downstairs to Abaddon, and they found Crowley, and they've told her he's on the move. Now, they take Crowley out to actually one of his demons who is playing on both sides for Abaddon and for Crowley, like Crowley would as well, because he again is all for himself. He's an equal opportunist. He'll do everything for him and not for the greater good. And they find the Impala. Basically, that's what they're looking for. The demon ends up losing her life to Abaddon because Abaddon finds out that she is playing both sides and she doesn't like it. We find that about Abaddon, that she doesn't play both sides. Apparently, she just has her back and doesn't care. So they track down Impala because it ran a red light. Welcome to the party, Dean DiGaggio. Empty threats between Dean, Crowley, Castiel, and Sage, as I'm calling Sam and Gadriel, or Gadriel, I'm calling him Sage. Crowley wants to torture him. He's so excited. He starts the process of rewiring him. It doesn't sound nice. It can be heard all over the bunker. Good jump, it's underground and in the middle of nowhere, isn't it? That you don't have to hear those screams. Unless that's what you're into, then no shame here. Dean is saying both he and Castiel are dumbasses for being manipulated by other angels. Just angels, more like your entire life, people. They have found out who Gadriel is and not Zeke, and what he has done and how he had never met him. That's Castiel, because he was in jail for an eternity. Gadriel is telling them he can go through torture for life, and to save him, Crowley must possess Sam. So they mess with his tattoo. Castiel's not happy about this, but Castiel doesn't fucking get to judge after everything he's done. So Crowley said he doesn't want to be inside his brother for more than he needs to be, and he doesn't like sloppy seconds. I love how Crowley says the shit he says and with a straight face and doesn't smirk the entire time he says it, because I would struggle. It's hilarious. Crowley says no chains and that he's free basically, but again, Crowley wants to be a bromance with Dean, even though he's the king of hell. He fucking loves Dean. He wants to make Dean his wifey. The safe word the boys use is called Poughkeepsie. It means get the fuck out of Dodge and fucking run. So Crowley says that to Sam in his head because Gadriel has kept him in a memory of a hunt. He pretends to shoot him and he doesn't get shot, he doesn't die, and he's shown that you're stuck in a fucking memory. You need to get up, you need to fucking fight. Go do it now. Crowley again tells him to fucking go for it. He asks him to remember and take control, and then he gets caught by Gadriel, funnily enough, and they fight. He keeps saying to cast him out and take control because he's saying, man the fuck up and fucking get shit done, man. Sam gets up and says, get the hell out. And then Gadriel is out of Sam. Everything goes lightning, and Marv says, let me guess, Winchester trouble. Showdown with Abaddon. Next time I see you, yes, I'm dead. Love you to Crowley and Dean exchange love taps. They escape. Bring me his head. Abaddon to the demons. Daddy's home. Crowley to Abaddon. It's a campaign, not a fight. He calls Abaddon a ginger, which is hilarious. He snaps his fingers and says, vote Crowley. In Crowley fashion. You feel better, Castisam? And said, they will need to heal him in stages because Castiel is not at full power, and also the trials did a number on him. He was at death's door, so it's going to take him time to do it. Whereas Zeke was supposed to be doing that already, who's Gadriel, but he wasn't. He was doing it for a selfish reason to hide so no one could fucking find him because he escaped jail. Boo-hoo, Sam. I was ready to die, he says to Dean. Boo-hoo. Dean, everyone is feeling sorry for themselves and having a wee pity party at the moment. Go. I am not going to stop you, Sam to Dean. Their domestic is amicable and Dean leaves in the Impala and sad music plays. So this is the episode I felt, episode 11, which is called Firstborn, which is opening a new storyline, and the previous episodes have filled in plot holes and storylines from the last 9 seasons. They've got rid of people, they've killed off people, and now they're trying to start up a new storyline. That this is episode 11, so this is closest to the mid-season hiatus that they used to do for Supernatural. So episode 11 felt more like a finale, a run-up to finale, than the actual finale it did itself. Because again, I've said before, a lot of the time they didn't know if they were going to be cancelled or not, because this storyline and this one's a bit shit and a wee bit choppy. So it's like meh. They kind of do that. So the Firstborn, it's a recap. I am your king, which is said by Crowley. Choices made by Dean, but not for the right reasons, selfish reasons with Gadriel and Zeke, and also Dean too. Talking about the killing of Kevin and their domestic and Dean leaving. So we have an old military protecting a knife, black smoke, possessed soldier. Where was your salt back then, people, to keep the demons out? Oh, handsome. There is a handsome man. I know your name and I ain't saying it, but he suits that bearded mustache jaunty look. He really does. A new character, a new storyline. They have tied up some tablet nonsense and things. Charlie has no one, and Dean are in a bar, and now he's been talking about the first blade. This can take out Abaddon. Abaddon is, like I said, she is the first of the Knights of Hell that were created by Lucifer himself, and she is incredibly powerful. And she possessed Josie, who was a part of the Men of Letters, who was part of the team with their grandfather, Henry Winchester, and she's been riding about in Josie's body ever since. She has been casted out but never actually killed. So the first blade is wielded by the firstborn, and it was actually, this episode is all around a old fable which is in the Bible. The firstborn. The music playing in this episode is very Frasier and Seinfeld like. Crowley, let's go to Daddy's man cave, as there is a code for the storage place. His father has, Daddy Douchebag, who's paying for the lease for this, by the way, because he's been dead for fucking 7 years now. So who the fuck's paying the fees on that? Because, they don't work and all they do is have, like, fake credit card fraud and shit. Don't do it, people. It's like molecules, Castiel is talking about. He doesn't eat food in the same way as he did when he was human, and he is overwhelmed. He's discussing this with Sam. Crowley, do you think he knew about where the blade was? Do you think he knew everything about the blade? Do you think he's playing Dean? Yes, 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 and yes, because it's fucking Crowley who only does things for himself. And if you weren't aware, he's a demon. That's what they do. Don't fucking trust them. Even if it's for the greater good and you need something from them, do not fucking trust them. I love Crowley, but you can't fucking trust him. You are a terrible liar, Sam to Crowley. He said once, convinced both Sam and Dean once before. Crowley was under a hood because he doesn't want to find out where this place is, so he can come back and take stuff. And Crowley's a smart guy. He will know from like smells, scents, his surroundings and stuff because he's a demon. So even though they've put a hood on him, does shit. But he's an intelligent guy. He's a bit of gullible when it comes to people. Yes, because he wants to be accepted as well, even though he says he doesn't, but he does. But anyway, I've been inside your brother. We are practically family. Again, Crowley with the double entendre dirty things that he says about the boy. We are the furthest thing from family, dickbag. That's Dean's response to Crowley and his weirdness. Paranoid, decor, lol. Love that hunter sheep, don't we? Hunter's Hogwarts. Crowley, you magnificent man. That is a great way to actually call the bunker. So Sam has a part of Zeke/Gadriel, an angelic fingerprint. I spoke about that in the start of the podcast. He has angelic grace and it fades each time Cass heals him, but the grace may be helpful to track him because you can track the angel it is. But they can also track you. That's the thing. So it works both ways. But they need to extract it. And it's not pretty. It's an incredibly painful process where a lot of people actually would die. They did speak about the many letters, thought if you could actually extract this grace, this fingerprint, that you could actually track an angel and also capture the angel type thing. So they were doing this for, again, the greater good. But again, a lot of things to do with the many letters weren't anything to do with the greater good. It's about protecting knowledge and saving humanity. So there's that. They go visit Tara, who was someone who was working with Daddy Douchebag to find the first blade. She became obsessed with it. She thought it didn't exist, but she became obsessed with it because they got a glint of a spell to actually find it. They couldn't get the last thing, and Crowley clicks his fingers in the shop, it's a pawn shop, and he can't move because there's a devil trap under the fake Persian rug. And she doesn't want to, obviously, if he scratched a tiny wee bit of the trap, then he can escape. She doesn't remember to fix the trap, by the way, which causes her untimely demise. But they do the spell, they put it on the map, and then the map burns up and shows you that it's in Missouri. So they actually go. They needed Kraken, which she had plenty in Belize, which she brought. As they get to the location where they think the first blade is, because that's what the spell and the ingredients and everything like that had tracked it to, was a farm in Missouri. And Crowley looks at Dean and says, I feel something dark. Something's not right. Darker than you, Dean says. We need to leave. And then we find out that this is the father of murder. The man in the beard, with the bearded look from the start, is Cain. Yes, Cain and Abel. The first son. The first son took out the other son. Then you find out the actual story of Cain and Abel, the way they described it here. That Abel was not speaking to God, he was speaking to Lucifer. And the man who is Cain, the brother, he decided to make a deal so that Abel would his soul would go to heaven, but he would go to hell for an eternity and do basically whatever the fuck Lucifer needed him to do. And that's how he ended up with the mark of Cain and the first blade. And we find out they're connected. The blade doesn't work. Well, it works, but it just doesn't have the power unless you have the mark. So you can imagine Cain has the mark. He is the first son. Crowley has taken Dean to this place. Apparently, he didn't know where he was walking into. And he is the first son of John Winchester. He is always saving his younger brother. He is a warrior. Cain himself was like an innocent wee beekeeper, minding his own business. He even says that he's heard so much about Dean Winchester that he thinks he's probably the only worthy person of the mark. They've brought a war basically to Kane's residence, and he's just sitting there not bothering his ass because he did cause this war. He walked away from that life. He fell in love with a human who forgave him for everything he did in his life before he went to hell. And then when he came to, obviously, when he worked with the knight, he killed all the knights but Abaddon. Abaddon got away. Abaddon also possessed his wife that he married, Colette. He tries to kill Abaddon in the body and then she escapes and he has killed Colette in the process. And it was his way of having some sort of humanity, killed the one he loves. So therefore, he wants to kill Abaddon more than anyone, but he doesn't want to return to the life. He says he's very brave. The fact that the angels actually said they slaughtered the knights when they didn't, it was him. It's like, did he want them to take the credit for that so that stayed a secret? It would only Abaddon that would actually know because she was the only one that was left and she hasn't said anything because she was trapped somewhere for 75 years maybe. Crowley looks spooked, or does he? He's shaking while they're drinking out of China Lake. Crowley says this is the dumbest plan ever after they enter Kane's home. Dean responds with the day is just getting started and he picks up a photograph and he sees the wedding ring which is similar to what Kane has been wearing on Colette's finger. Kane says he's retired and it's not his fight. He's preparing his last meal in the house before he disappears because this is not his fight. Castiel is trying to tell Sam that when he was human, blah blah blah, and Sam is going, oh, dumbass, punish me for doing bad things. I had no control because my brother took that opportunity away from me again for like the 50th millionth time. Boo-hoo, stop being butthurt. Move the fuck on. Hold a fucking grudge, but there's a bigger picture, there's a job to do. When Dean Winchester asks for help, he clicks his fingers and says, enjoy yourself, as he lets the demons in through the kitchen. Dean fights them again. Kane is doing this as a test. Because of the first blade can only be wielded by a firstborn and have the bravery and the ability to wield such a weapon. Dean's been to hell, he's been to purgatory, he's been to many different places, and he's still walking about, living, breathing to tell the tale today. There's a big showdown, like I said, on episode 11, which was a mid-season finale, as it can be, because there's 23 episodes in this season, not 24. So I get the feels that they've tied up everything, and now they're moving on, but they've created more plot holes and more story gaps. Kindred spirits, Cain to Dean. You never give up on family, Dean to Cain. He said, you saved yours, as Cain Cadable. And again, he doesn't have the blade with him, apparently. I always thought it would be in the honey because he's protecting it. It was still close by. So he'd have to go into the hive to get it, but it wasn't because he keeps saying that we need bees and stuff, and he makes a big significance about we need bees because it's true. We do need bees to survive. So Castiel has a heart-to-heart with Sam as we can relate to him. They have both screwed up shit and that they have guilt about it. He knows that the guilt, what it does to you, and he knows that he's sorry, and he also knows that Sam is sorry. Old Cass would have had means and that he would have had drilled that needle deeper and killed him. Talking about when he was trying to remove the grace, that he would drill him deeper, that's just wrong. Understanding the significance of guilt and consequences is a wee shared moment between those two. Like, Castiel had the power to take him out, but he didn't, because he understands that he had no control of what he did, because he was, again, being possessed by an angel, so he didn't kill Kevin, but technically he did. Dean never gives up, but Cain does apparently. He disappears, and here comes the demons. Cain is at Colette's grave, which again is his only tie to humanity, is his wife, basically. And you think he's going to get the blade, but he's not. He's just speaking to her because he has to become something or he has to give the mark over to someone. Yes, yes. So he is going to burden someone else, and he knows what that burden feels like. There's like a mass demon killing spree. The whole place turns pink. He asks him if he understands, blah, blah, blah. He gets the mark that's on his arm now. He doesn't feel any different because he's not got the bonds and he's not with the actual blade itself. So once the blade is activated, as we find out, the more and more you spend time with the blades, the first blade, the more you become bonded to it, and the more power you have, the more power it has over you, and you can't put it down. It's something that's in your hand that you can't take out of. I wonder what else is another thing that men have in their hands that they don't want to stop touching. So yeah, so it's basically an additional penis. He was right, you are worthy. Nobody hates you more than you do. Crowley to Dean. Crowley is going to get the blade, but he needed to play along. He faked everything. Shock horror. Well, you think Kane would want to see the fight? You, demons, fight night. Using Abaddon as an excuse to troll him, yet it's Dean who holds the power. Because Crowley isn't a willing warrior. He is not brave. He is not a true warrior because he's a demon. He's so judgmental. Wait till Castiel sees what you've become. He's so judgmental. Crowley is a way to find the blade. Episode 12, Shark Teeth. Recap, Sam boo-hooing about possession and killing Kevin Tran and the guilt of it. Dean saying he is like the Reaper. Death follows, he dishes it out. He is a brave warrior and he's an only one worthy to hold the blade, possess the mark. A ton of stuff about Garth, and now Garth has been MIA for a while. This is an episode where we find out he was on a job, fell in love with a lichen, and now is a werewolf and not a hunter. Both Sam and Dean show up to see Garth's John Doe on the police scanner, and he tells Sam he's got this. He's being charged with killing and dismembering of a cow. Yep, Dean has adrenaline, he's about to stab him with it. Then Sam slaps him, and Garth wakes up, he's confused. So he's chained to a bed, and they don't realise what the fuck's going on. You find out that he has been turned by a lichen. He isn't a born werewolf, but there's like this cult-like behavior. He married this woman called Bess. Her dad is a preacher. They wear silver bullets around their neck even though it hurts them, it's to show that their life is fragile. Her stepmother has weird, icky vibes. She's just very, very cult-like when you see the episode. You find out that her father wanted to trigger Ragnarok and trigger the fact that humans are below them and they're only there to be turned or eaten, and forgetting that if you turn everybody to a werewolf, then the food supply would change and you wouldn't actually be able to go kill everything because there would be no humans to kill because it'd be werewolves anyway. And you'd have to kill animals. So it's weird. So within their religion, they have, again, a different faction, which is his wife and the stepmother, who's working against him. She was trying to plot in having Garth kill his daughter, but his wife, that's the guy's daughter, but it wasn't. She was going to kill everybody. She had to play nice all this time and act like a loving mother and a wife, but she wasn't. She had an ulterior motive. Shock horror. But she gets taken out and best thing happens. He wants to come back to the fold of being a hunter, and Dean said, like, you can't because, again, he could turn someone, and it's not really a good thing. Even though Dean would have killed someone like Garth in the past, he lets him go free, and Sam, again, is like, well, you killed my friend, and you killed these people for this. But you're not going to kill Garth because obviously you've lost too many people as it is. You've just lost Kevin. He makes him feel guilty about leaving Kevin because Kevin was Garth's responsibility and he fucks off. And when he finds out that Kevin died, he does feel like tremendous guilt and he wants to pay the price and he wants to make it better, but you can't because he's dead. Simple as that. So he goes off because, as we know, if you're a hunter, you either die trying to save the world or you get out. You can't be a hunter and stay in a happy family life because you're putting yourself at risk and the people that you love. So Garth is the exception this time. We have episode 13, which is Captives. Is the Purge, sorry. So the end of that episode is all about family, I felt. They have a heart-to-heart. As I said, Sam has fucked off in the past, so people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Draw a line, walk away, go forward, stop this bullshit. They have a hearty heart and they talk about Bobby, they talk about Dad, and they talk about Garth. Sam is like, we don't see things, their roles in the same way. Again, blame game and how he doesn't trust him. But again, Dean is the father role again, and Sam is the bratty child. He didn't want to lose his only family. They will work together, but that's it. The whole thing about family, Sam doesn't want anything to do with them because he took away his choices. There's no family loyalty anymore, which is a tunty thing to say. Dean is still doing what his father asked him to do, which is save Sammy no matter what. Loyal as hell, Dean, the ever protective father figure. So, The Purge is the next episode. Recap broken family relationships, trust issues, hunters who work but no family attachment. Now, Stillwater, Minnesota, a competitive. It was Missouri they were in, not Minnesota last time. Minnesota, a competitive eating competition, and this episode is about fat suckers. People are being killed. They're being found with suction marks, like from cupping. They're actually going to this facility and a few towns over, and people are losing weight. Like really easy, like 10 pounds in one day. Introducing a character named Donna, who is a sheriff as well. She ends up coming into a seasons down the line. She becomes like the way Jodie was, where she was in a couple of episodes before she actually became like a main character. So one of the main characters, after they kill off everybody and they've got no characters left, they end up with Donna and Jodie basically. They end up going there and they find out that it's this Peruvian fat sucker. So what they do is they use their facility to basically for wellness. They have like different plans and programs, and what they do is they harness the fat from, they basically plump up the people. They give them this salted caramel pudding that ends up that Dean eats because everything's vegan there, and he loses his shit because there's nothing for him to eat. So he eats this pudding and he ends up completely moaned. He's literally sliding off a sack of sweet potatoes and says that to Sam on the phone. Sweet potatoes, like, is a word that he would know, and he's just like completely, he's out of the game and he can't do anything. So they feed this to the actual guests who, before they get their treatments, they're all kind of subservient and like all mellowed out. So when they're being fed upon and harvested, they don't notice because they're like sleepy and stuff. But again, this woman who is one of these Peruvian fat suckers, she owns this place with her partner. She's there with her brother, but her brother's going about killing people out of hours because he can't restrain himself. So he doesn't feel he has to restrain himself, and they've almost get caught before and they've had to like move because of the brother. The brother ends up getting taken out, and also the brother takes out her husband, and now she's left all alone. Dean tells her to fucking move on. And like, he didn't kill her either. He would have killed her, but he doesn't. It's all about basically family and what you'll do for family, and she knows what her brother has done is wrong by killing innocent people. It's not his fault, but he doesn't even try to even stop this. She said coexisting basically was the word that they use quite a lot. They coexist. They have to coexist for them to survive. If they kill off all the humans, then they all can't coexist and they will die eventually anyway. They will starve. So they have another hearty heart. Again, this is all BS, Dr. Phil BS, about the past and saving Sam and all those times that Dean is trying to apologise and make a point of how his way is the right way and that he would do it again. Sam, you think you are my saviour and you think what you are doing more good than bad, but you're not. Kevin's dead. Crowley's in the wind. What is the upside of me being alive? You and me fighting the good fight together? Dean has saved Sam from him because he didn't want to be alone. He will sacrifice everything as long as he isn't being hurt. Role reversal. He says Sam would do the same, but that is not true. He didn't look for him when he was in purgatory or when he went to hell, and when he came back, he selfishly made the decision to go on with his life and not look for Dean, showing he's selfish for him too, but in a different way. They aren't the same, but they are the kind they are, but they're not. Next episode is Captives, a recap of Kevin Tran, the Prophet, him losing his mother, and him, Crowley trolling Metatron, using others for his dirty work as he can never be blamed for acting, just whispering in other people's ears. They are heart to heart. We are one and the same for different purpose and reason, but we don't have the same reasoning behind our actions. Lights flickering in the bunker, Dean shouts Sam, Sam shouts Dean, and the bunker is warded. Ghost may be a spirit, thinks Kevin, but he got cremated. The coffee maker goes mental, and then they see Kevin and a cup smashes. So basically, Kevin does appear in this, and this is where we find out his mother was not killed by Crowley, even though Crowley says he killed the mother, but he didn't kill her. He had her captive in a lockup. Kevin finds out that his mum from someone in the Vale, another spirit in the Vale, basically, another captive who is kept alongside his mum Linda, and it was a week ago. So they go and they try and find Dead Lockup where they are, why they're being kept. They find out that it's Crowley that's been keeping them because he talks shit about himself, and the spirit knows this, and that's how she describes him. And Bartholomew's in this episode, and again, he keeps trying to swing Castiel over to his way and stuff, and how he's like, oh, we could rule together. How? That's what Metatron said. How's that any better? Such an ego boost, but why you listening to him? It's not true. Gained a reputation, Bartholomew, you tortured and killed them. I was ordered to kill them. Angels follow orders. He doesn't anymore. He gives the orders now, and that was what Bartholomew is going on about. How the roles have reversed for him. Save Linda, but then Linda finds out that her son is dead. Again, Linda has found out the item that Kevin is tied to. It's his father's class ring. And instead of all the things that he would be tied to and tethered to this world would be that ring, because the only thing that he had his father's before his dad died when he was a child, a little baby. So his mother is like, I'm taking my son home. They explain to him he's going to become a vengeful spirit, and she goes, I don't care. He's my son and I will protect him. Again, in life and death, a mother's love, a mother's protection. And she leaves with him. So he finally gets to see his mum, even though he won't get to live happily ever after, but his mum will have him for a time until she can, and she has to make the decision that most people would do, that the boys had to do with Bobby because Bobby went mental. Before Kevin leaves the bunker with his mum, he turns around and says, can you two get over it? He's speaking about the brothers and how stupid they're being because he's dead and his mum is basically taking home a spirit. Because my mum's taking home a ghost, you both are still here, and they both agree, but they're lying, of course, just to make him feel better. Kevin has really grown up, even as a ghost. Dean does what I do, headphones on, music blasting, fuck everyone else, to go and do their separate ways. So this episode is Thin Man, and again, it's a fucking filler episode that brings back ghost faces. Now, you know I don't fucking like them. Lunar doesn't fucking like them in episodes either. It's fucking pointless. They're doing a lot of stuff. So basically, they created Thin Man. Thin Man was kind of like the internet thing where, you know, apparently it appears, it kills you, blah, blah, blah. But people are being killed. This lassie takes a selfie, and Thin Man is behind her. Even though Thin Man isn't real, the power of the internet and the power of belief, etc., people believe in Thin Man. But it's actually a person. We find out there's two guys that took it upon themselves to kill people who have wouldn't accept their date or being a bad boss, think stupid things. So that's basically what happens. And it was created because the guy from Ghostfacers didn't want his mate to leave him because he found a girlfriend and is going to start a new job and a new life. He was so fucking jealous he didn't even want to let his mate have a happily ever after. So selfish friend there, and kills and gets people killed in the process. It is not a good episode. I didn't fucking like it. I hated it. So, episode 16, is it? Blade Runners. Henry, it's the recap of Henry Winchester, Men of Letters, Knights of Hell, First Blade, The Mark of Cain, Crowley and the Search for the Blade now. So, too busy inflicting pain, please leave a message. That was Crowley's message on his mobile phone. Sam, can he be trusted? No. Crowley's singing to him when he drunk dialed Dean. It's so funny. He butt dialed him. Apparently, no, he didn't. He phoned and sung to you drunk because he's sad and he misses Dean. He wants what Dean and Castiel has. Crowley giving someone named Lola some thrust, and then she goes to him, gets some blood from the pantry, because apparently the pantry is empty. Now, when he was captured by the boys, he became reliant on their blood. He basically becomes a junkie, basically. He doesn't realise that Lola is working for Abaddon. Yes, 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 yes. He is basically watching Casablanca, crying and getting his junkie fix of blood. But he's having the time of his life right now, apparently, but he's crying while he watches Casablanca. And then the supernatural opening. Again, Lola's a traitor, playing both sides. Demon Sam go to the crossroads and they're spray painting a trap. And they summon a crossroads demon, and it's Snooky, from The Jersey Shore. Yeah, but she said her name's not Snooki anymore, it's Nicole. She gets Crowley information. Where is Crowley? Western Pacific. Hell's getting crazy and Abaddon is making her move and Crowley is wasting time. They start doing the exorcism and she goes, seriously? An exorcism? See you, Snooks. Honey, I'm home. Lola to Crowley. Hello, Pumpkin. Crowley knows she's a traitor. It seems she thinks that she can outsmart him, but she cannot. Crowley needs no one, and he took her out. Well done, you dumbass. Crowley has always got an angle, and he's the king of hell and the best one yet. Heroin by the Velvet Underground is playing as he shoots up the blood in the syringe. He has a glimpse of himself, and he knows it's time. He shakes himself off and gets back to work. Well, Crowley is needing help and he's somewhat of an addict now, and the boys are keeping him in the basement to dry him out. He wanted his BFF Dean, now he has, and now he's drying out. And like any junkie, he'll probably be hallucinating and everything else, and it'll probably be amped up because he's a fucking demon and also the king of hell, and he's ancient as fuck, so imagine what that come down's like. We shared a moment in that church, you and me, Crowley to Sam. He's stealing candy. At least Castiel was a nice version when human Dean talking about how Crowley is a douche. Crowley possesses the buyer's rep, get what he wants, and then escapes again. Demon possesses some security guards. A woman comes in and she is killed for bringing food, a bloodbath, the research assistant. Magnus is the buyer, but the woman, the curator, wants to bang Dean, it seems. Albert Magnus is the name used by the men of letters in a case of emergency, especially if someone has died or there is like an apocalypse coming. Crowley is livid. They are helping him dry out and he's blaming them because he's tied up getting nowhere, and he says they are partners and they aren't because he is a demon and the king of hell and he cannot be trusted. That's right. Crowley is looking at vintage porn in front of the boys, and again, they seem to be really comfortable about reading porn mags in front of each other, grown men. Hello, that's never fucking acceptable. Ever. Again, I'm not kink shaming anyone, but come on to fuck. So it's a non-active member of the Men of Letters. He was actually the Master of Spells. He wanted to create the Men of Letters bunker as being invisible, like completely invisible and not just underground. You find out when they go actually find him, because he has a zoo apparently full of monsters basically to help him out. Because Dean has to fight basically a bunch of vampires that are basically protecting him. So his place of residence is invisible. He's a very odd chap, and he's basically he's not aged. And again, he jokes about how he had to do that spell for him not aging. He was stuck in a time warp, still dressed like the 50s, but he again, like I said, disappeared. It's kind of like what happens with Kevin Tran and the tablet, where, you know, he's tricked and he is being auctioned off by a god because they needed the prophet and the tablet, because the tablet is useless without the prophet because the prophet needs to translate it, and vice versa. It's basically just a bit of stone and that's it. So that's what kind of happens with Dean, because Dean has the mark of Cain, and the mark of Cain and the blade need to be bonded and together for them to actually work. Him saying that he put the Cain said he put the first blade into it was at the bottom of the Pacific, but again he managed to get it and he has it, but it's been obviously not working. It's basically just been sitting there like an ornament and an artifact, basically like in a museum, because there's loads of shit. He seems to have kleptoed things over like God knows how long, but he needs the mark and he knew that. So it's similar to what happened to Kevin Cuthbert St. Clair. That's his actual name. Magnus senses something again. So Crowley tricked Dean to take on Cain, and he did get Gadriel out of Sam. He does do good work when it suits him, Crowley, and affects him. He was trying to save say to Sam. Objects of his quest, Dean holds the blade. He's reluctant at first. When he becomes attached to the blade, the more you touch it, the more you touch it, the more you want it. Again, very penis like. He doesn't he own one of them already, being male? Crowley was useful as he needed ingredient. After they get out of Magnus's place, the demons have screwed with Impala. They've scratched "Be afraid, your queen." It's a message on the Impala that is basically for Crowley, not for the boys. Dean is butthurt because someone scratched his fucking car. I would be too, because it was a hefty scratch job they did. That's like a woman's scorned right there. Crowley, I owe a debt for you, as they have no need for Crowley now. He takes the blade, and as long as I have it, I have you. You really think that you're gonna walk away with that? Really? You're right, miss. You can't trust me, and sadly, I can't trust you either. Crowley to Sam. Then he disappears with a blade. So he basically has Dean on the hook. Mother's Little Helper, episode 17. Or is it 18? 17, 18. I'm mislabeled an episode. Recap Henry Winchester, The Menelaiters, The 50s Massacre in Abaddon. Again, this is going back to where Abaddon actually appeared. She was actually possessing a nun, and the nun was killing people and harvesting souls, it seems. There's an old nun who keeps going to the police station and saying this happened before. When are they coming? Blah, blah, blah. The boys are there and they didn't bat an eyelid basically about demons. When Sam is speaking to Julia, she was a nun and she remembers what happened. She didn't say anything, and she said that she didn't say at the time because they don't prepare you for this kind of shit. They just tell you what to do. They don't do anything else. They don't prepare you. So she didn't say anything because she was fucking scared, and she's held that guilt since the 50s, and she left being a nun to go into civilian life because she just couldn't do her job as a nun, knowing what she had done and the guilt that she had over everything that had happened in the massacre. So we find out a few things: that Abaddon was in Josie before Henry got his initiation, but she was hiding in plain sight. They have been continuing Abaddon's work and they got caught this time, but again, they don't know why she's doing it or what's going on at this point. But that's basically what happens in this episode. It's all to do with the past and how Abaddon was in Josie's body before, because they seem to think when they're doing an exorcism, she wanted to learn more about the Menelaiters, and that's why she stayed in Josie's body. She didn't want Henry, and she manipulated Josie basically to become part of her. And obviously now she's in Abaddon's in her and has been in her, and that's the only body that she's been in basically since. So that's what that episode is, tying up, like, how Abaddon ended up in Josie, not the story that they portrayed to us, that because Henry didn't know at that point that she was possessed. So Josie feels like a whole new person when she's asked if she's okay with everything, and they realise that their purpose of being part of the Menelaiters has more meaning now. And so does Henry feels this too. So Dean is a dog with a bone apparently. Sam, you were right. Dean, about what? Sam, finding Abaddon as soon as possible. Sam, she's mining souls. Why? Dean says. Sam, to create an army. So now we know the souls are for an army. Dean looks confused and, well, what the fuck is she doing that for? But hey. Metafiction is the next episode of season 9. Recap: the fake research for Abaddon, the burden of the mark, Metatron using people and being a douche and not getting his hands dirty. Castiel is the leader, but he doesn't want to be spoken like a true leader. He doesn't want to be one, but apparently that's spoken like a true leader. Metatron with classical music playing. This episode is bullshit as well. This is from his point of view and no one else's point of view. He's the storyteller as he keeps going on. He's dressed like a guy from Sherlock times, like Victorian times, and he's got his music playing, he's got his typewriter, and he talks about the great storytellers before him, the storytellers after him, how he's trying to create the best story. So it's basically from his view and his view alone and no one else's. He's trying to soften the blow of everything that he has done, and he's done these things for a reason. He's done these things for a reason because he wants to be God. He wants to be the new God. He wants to basically be the ruler of everything, but do we think he can do it? No. He literally uses people to get to do things for him because he can't fucking do things himself. So he even invites Gabriel into this, who we know as Loki as well, the trickster. He was killed back when the apocalypse again happened, and he took one for the team because it was between Lucifer and Michael and the vessels that were Sam and Dean, and he was killed, remember? Castiel realizes from his jacket being fixed and not ripped from earlier in the episode that this is all fake, and he just says basically to stand by Metatron's side. Crowley and Abaddon, Gabriel, I have missed your sass. Gabriel says him and Castiel are rebels, and then he replies with, bitch, please. I love him so much for this shit he says. He says Castiel has been God more times than Dad has, which is true. Castiel, we need a leader, and I'm happy that it's you. Telling him things he wants to hear. They're in a gas station again. He said, smell that cancer, referring to all the chemicals in the shop bought food, which was hilarious. And again, it's another tie into when the Leviathan came. Leviathan were removing the cancerogens from the fucking food so they could actually heal people, so they could eat them and make their Happy Meals with legs taste better. So there was that too. It's Metatron's version of event. He's been scolded by Marv for not reading a book, Castiel. Apparently he's just not very intelligent, apparently, in Marv's eyes, which is Megatron. Megatron says that Castiel is the villain and he is the hero. Of course he is. Even though he caused the fall of the angels by manipulating Castiel and Gadriel, he never gets his hands dirty because he gets other people to do his dirty work for him. He seems to think that this is what leaders do. Castiel is the only one with spunk apart, according to Metatron. Really? Gadriel is being tortured and he deserves it for killing Kevin. He deserves a whole lot of torture. Gadriel wants to be killed, so he thought by triggering Dean, the torturing in hell, the saviour of the universe, and the hero of purgatory would be able to take him out of the game, but Dean wants him to suffer. He doesn't want him to get an easy way fucking out for what he did to Kevin. Just because he says it doesn't mean he means it. If they don't hand over Gadriel, they're going to kill Cass. Well, he's going to kill Cass, which is Metatron. Apparently, he's an entity of his word. Is he really, though? His voice is no when it comes to actions. Those are through others by his whispers, that is all. He's a wee attention seeker, boohoo. Metatron, holy fire trap. That he knew would be there because he wrote this story. This is all him that wrote it. He knew exactly what was happening. He said that he had s'mores. They make holy fire makes s'mores taste minty, apparently. Do we want to try that? Probably not. Metatron took the wardings off the Impala trunk. What a dick. He's a wee sadistic fuck, we know that. He gave Cass a chance. No, he didn't. He manipulated him into fucking over angels in heaven and mankind and everything else. His juice is coming from the tablet, and they are struggling to figure out what is the next step and how it is to take him down. Again, this is from his point of view, his perspective, no one else's. So he knows what's going to happen because he has wrote it. The writer loves a good twist, good characters, and there's a way of playing their part, so it's already written. I have spoke about this before. If it's written, then why isn't he already many steps in front, and why not just go for it? If you write the word of God and the future, why are you fucking stalling? Sad song playing. God, everything Castiel has a little army. Just because there aren't many doesn't mean that this army cannot do damage for all, and the greater good. If you believe. Metatron, I can do it better than you. String a sentence. Isn't that a selfish one? What do you think of Metatron or Marv? Whatever you want to call him. Do you think he would make a good god? No. Should the real god show up and smite that fucker down? Yes. How are we feeling about the boys' levels tiff? It's like, when the fuck will this be over? All you do is fucking fight with each other and boo-hoo and get butthurt about fucking shit. Just fucking move on. Can he be friends? Can he be brothers? Just fucking go your separate fucking ways. Stop fucking greeting about it and just fucking man the fuck up. I know you're not fucking supposed to say this, but this is a fictional fucking universe and I can say what the fuck I want in my podcast. If you don't fucking like it, unfollow. Rant over. Do we ship the new Bronan? Ship, not shipped, the new new romance between Croween or Deanley? Who knows what we will call it? What would you call it if you could? Episode 19, Alex, Annie, Anne. So again, a recap is the vampire law on how to kill them. Jodie's in this episode, another episode with Joey, and really, really quickly beside each other actually. Her hunter journey and where she got and how she got to where she is now, like losing her son coming back and killing her husband, and her losing everything and gaining a new family, which was Bobby, sorry, and the boys. The boys are still there now. She still feels a responsibility, even though they are adults, because she is a mother. This one, a girl randomly is picked up, and we find out that she is a blood bag, a human blood bag that was kidnapped as an 8-year-old child by a vampire pack. And what she does is they've changed her name to Alex because the mother of the vampires is, or mama as they call her, her daughter died. She wanted to see Alex grow up. Well, Annie grow up. Annie has no family. Her grandmother who was looking after her has died, and she's basically all alone. But she tries to escape, but they keep finding her because, again, a vampire knows the scent of their pack. They know the scent of her because obviously they fed off her. I don't know how many years actually. They kidnapped her when she was 8, but then she goes to high school. But even though she was in a bar, so that kind of fucked up. They put her into school, but she was going to bars. You have to be 21 to like drink in a bar in America, so that was a wee bit skewed how they've done that, unless they've made her older or they've glamoured people, who the fuck knows. So basically we're off on a tangent there. Basically, she's a girl who they've abducted. They feed off her if she can't get them food, and pretty much they look after her, but they're not really looking after her. It's a toxic relationship, it's an abusive relationship that they tell her that she is loved by them, she's part of their family, but she's not, because they need her more than they need her. So that's how they've manipulated her into thinking that she cannot leave because they will always find her. The mother of the vampires turns her Also almost gets Jodie killed by protecting her. The girl is not very particularly nice to Jodie, even though Jodie's trying to protect her. And then they take out basically the full vampire nest, etc. They all get their happily ever after because she doesn't feed Alec. And then they give her the Campbell cure, and she is human again, like what happened to Dean originally when he was turned into a vampire on purpose by Sam. On purpose. But hey, that episode was basically Jodie being brought in and also bringing in a new character because again, Alec slash Annie ends up in another episode down the line, and Jodie becomes her guardian, and she brings her up like one of her own basically, and gives her the life she should have had. And it's like it's a new start for Jodie as well, and she has something to bring meaning, as she says, into her life and some responsibility because she lost her son. He died. She didn't have to lose him once, she had to lose him twice. So again, she gets a second chance at being a mother to a more adult kid, but that's basically her job now. So the boys, again, it's family working together, blah, blah, blah. There's a few episodes that are back to back here that are basically filler, but it's mostly filler with a story with family and what family means, because Sam is a douche and doesn't want to be part of the family, only wants to work with Dean, even though he's just too butthurt and so much of he likes to hold a grudge. So these episodes are just about family, what you would do for family, love of family, even when they don't do things that you don't want them to. When they do things you don't want them to do, they make their own decisions, they make mistakes, but family is family. That's what they're trying to put in these episodes, no matter whether you're a monster or a human or an angel or a demon. Family is family. That's what they're trying to go by. That's what I feel like they're trying to do, because they hate each other. Well, Dean doesn't hate Sam. He just doesn't understand why Sam is being an ungrateful dickhead when he's already been shown that he is so ungrateful to his brother and he only does things for him. No, but still, like, he's punishing him for taking him from college and taking him away from Jess and all that. It's like an ongoing blame Dean, blame the hunter's life and all that shit. Jodie says to Alex slash Annie that she will give her what she needs and that she will give her what she has been missing: a mother, a protector, a guardian, and kindness that only a mother can give. So episode 20, Bloodlines, it's based in Chicago. This is basically 5 families, like a mafia-like turf war in the monster world, in the underworld. Someone is going about killing these people, these monsters, and within these families, and we find out that it's a human that's going about killing people. The first person who is killed is a young woman who has just been proposed to by her boyfriend, and her boyfriend, we find out he's got a past as well. His dad was a police officer with anger issues, and he's angry because no one is doing anything to find who killed his future wife, basically. The boys end up finding out that there's much more at stake, that there are families and factions all fighting against each other. Always, basically, there's different areas of Chicago where they can't go, where they literally will be taken out, and they all have to work together through business as well, but they hate each other and they want to keep their lines pure as well. One of the families fell in love. It was not a skinwalker, a shapeshifter and a werewolf. And now, if they try and act like it's the guy who plays Cole in Vampire Diaries, who's playing a shapeshifter. His name's David, and he's also in the originals. Basically, his love is betrothed to someone else, another werewolf. People are being killed, members of the family, etc. You find out that the brother who was killed at the start by the human, because he's trying to stop the monsters from taking over, which is basically the worst thing you could do, that his brother who was killed told Violet, the werewolf who David's in love with and will always be in love with, that he's not showing up, that he's not going to taint the bloodlines, and that she needs to leave and forget about David and move the fuck on, because they're not going to fuck with the bloodlines. They're not going to fuck with the kind of, I don't think it's a treaty or something, but it's a kind of, boundary thing. Find out that David's sister also wants fighting between all the families and wants to have war, because there's not been a war for a while. She welcomes her brother back because he's older, and technically he would be next in line to take over everything, because their father is literally like dying, it looks like, because he's on like machines and stuff in the house. And she smiles like he's back, and then it turns from a smile, from a smirk to a I fucking hate you face, that when you do something fucking wrong, I'm going to make sure that I take your head and I take your place. We find out that the guy at the start, after they take out everybody and find out it's basically someone with a murder board showing that a wee boy had been killed by or mauled by an animal, but it wasn't. It was by a werewolf, it seems. That his dad isn't dead, and his dad phones him and says, with an unknown number, and says, "Don't go after the monsters. They'll kill you. They'll come after you." And then he's like, "Dad," and then he hangs up. So that's how that ends that episode. This episode, again, like I said at the start, was about family, even with monsters, trying to show the boys' family's family, and sometimes even the dysfunctional ones are still important, and that you can never tell who really has your back. Now, this for me was like, they started off with a chosen few at the start of Supernatural: Bobby, Rufus, Daddy Douchebag, Ellen, Joe, etc. These are all characters that are now became part of the family. Fans fell in love with them, but they're all dead now. They still have each other in Castiel, even though they have lost him. And Castiel himself even has lost himself in times of manipulation for taking the gullible trophy temporarily away from Moose, who is Sam. Should Dean have saved Sam? He was going to, even if you say no, he was going to do it anyway. Should he have left Sam to die finally? Yes, because then I wouldn't be moaning so much about how Sam is butthurt. Do you think the boys have been robbed of any sort of life? Yes, definitely. Has the supernatural world hardened these boys to the point of no return? Yes, I do believe that. But again, if you're not hardened to that world, then that can kill you as well. So it's not a bad thing, but it is a bad thing because they're literally kind of turned off a part of their humanity anyway to become hunters and to shield themselves from things that would hurt everybody else, like emotionally, not just emotionally, but physically as well. But they've hardened themselves to protect themselves. That's the thing. That's why I don't think Sam ever fit in with the college life, and he does admit that a few seasons ago, that he never fit into that life because of the way he was brought up and how he was hardened from like the loving family and the life of going to college and having your own family and experiencing love and friendship and all that shit. He didn't get to have that because John didn't want that for them. They wanted to get who killed the mother, but then after you get the demon who killed the mother, what the fuck do you do then? You're left with these two boys that you've brought up in a similar way to how Mary was brought up. Mary didn't want that for her children, so that's what I feel like they're kind of tying up with this season so they can start off, because we're more than halfway through, because it's 15 seasons. We're on season 9 now, so there's only 6 seasons left, so we're more than halfway through. So they are tying up things and showing you different aspects of how they've been brought up, where they are today, and how they've become who they are today. So there is that. Are things more for routine? I save you, you save me, we fall out, and then we kiss and make up, all routine and not for love or loyalty anymore? I think it's just their way. Do you feel the brothers have grown tired of the same crap? Yes, wouldn't you? And will Castiel stop being in the front row for the new deity? He has failed at it before. Don't you remember Leviathan, when he thought he was the all-powerful and he was just a fucking dictator and a dickhead at that? And then he brought Dick to Earth, for fuck's sake. He brought Leviathan, he went into the water, and Dick ended up ruling for like, what, nearly 2 seasons? Just over a season? Dick was a complete dickhead, and it was dick jokes everywhere. As funny as it was, it got tiresome. So don't let him become the new deity. He can't fucking handle it, man. He can't even handle eating and urinating when he's human, so imagine him trying to fucking rule the fucking earth. Heaven as well? I don't think so. Okay, episode 21, King of the Damned. It's a lame title. It's a recap, open warfare between the factions, between heaven, between angels, blah. Gadriel and as a patsy to Metatron. Poughkeepsie having a new meaning. Not a place, no, it's a place, it's also a safe word. Metatron and his attention-seeking Abaddon. King of Hell having a tantrum, the First Blade and Kane, Hellhounds and Crowley in his junky blood days, which was only a few episodes ago. Abaddon finds Crowley's son and he's chanting. It sounds promising. And now we have opening scene. People are scared when they hear footsteps. Is it him? Yes, it is. And it's dramatic as fuck, but it's Castiel. Whoa, it was just anticlimactic. Oh my god, is it him? And it's Castiel, man. It's like, what? He's a commander, apparently, of the resistance and this faction of angels that want the good for heaven, and they don't want Metatron to become god, and they want Metatron to pay for everything that he has done. Or do they? Castiel wants to find a diplomatic answer rather than going to war with Metatron, because again, like a good leader, he wants no one to die. He wants people to have a future that obviously they're not killing each other in the process. Crowley is back and he had a wee speech prepared and everything about going back to how things were before and how he's found out all who have betrayed him and they're going to pay and blah 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 bullshit. Abaddon knows about the blade and the mark, and Dean. Abaddon tries to make a deal and he turns her down. Abaddon is going to go back to when Crowley went human for 5 minutes and was being on a Casablanca blood and pussy binge, but again, he is antagonizing her by saying he's done worse than that while his son is bleeding through his eye. And then he makes her stop. Good cop, bad cop, but in a cheesy way this time with the boys because they've captured one of Metatron's followers and they become that crazy, cringy way where they end up saying enough information that the angel is listening, but they're not saying it loud enough, but they're saying it in a way that he knows that he has to listen. And then he ends up giving them the information that they want without actually answering the questions because they're actually answering questions with questions to trick the guy who's not that intelligent that he couldn't see through that. But anyway, basically they find out that Metatron's building an army for war. No shit. Gadriel felt misunderstood. Said Sam. That's how he felt when he was sharing a body and brain, that he was a misunderstood angel because he thought what he was doing was right, but obviously he wasn't. But he was wanting penance, he was wanting forgiveness for everything he did, and him being in jail for all that time is enough forgiveness, would you not say? Had he learnt his lesson? No, it shows. He went into bed with Metatron, so he hasn't learned anything. Metatron is basically the snake in the Garden of Eden at this fucking point. Wee slithering wee prick that basically can't, he's basically power hungry. So God has done a clout chasing wee fuck and he's trying to negotiate with Crowley. It's one of some of the most terrible Scottish accents ever, by the way. We don't all sound the fucking same and everybody sounds different no matter where you live. Those villages, people fucking sound differently. Ugh. Gadriel has such a hard on for warriors and loves to pass that word around like the clap, doesn't he? Castiel's mouth looks like an anus right now. It's so dry. Hello, chapstick, Vaseline, something. Lick them. You look dehydrated. You look like a prune. Dean is having a bone-gasm touching the blade and he's about to shoot in his pantaloons, it looks like, with that facial expression. Tricking the boys, Crowley, are you double-crossing both Abaddon and the Winchesters? Sam can hear hellhounds, and again, the only way to get rid of hellhounds, usually you only hear them if you've made a deal. But apparently they get out and one of Crowley's ones get out. They put Crowley on speakerphone and he speaks to her. Julieta, I think her name is. Yeah, and she calms down and stops. She says it's Papa, and the hellhound stops. It's weird his son is called Kevin, and he had a weird relationship with Kevin Tran Crowley. And when Kevin died, he actually didn't look so cut up, but he actually acted better than most demons would. The first blade is in a body of a corpse. That's where obviously Crowley has put it. Sam almost saw his Cheerios again, and he looks like he might still see them because he has to dig in the body to get it. Does not sound very pleasing, does it? You need to leave Poughkeepsie right away. This is the word. Dean and Sam use this for trouble and run. This is what Crowley says on the phone to Dean when they're driving away. Abaddon shoots Crowley. Devil's trapping the bullets like Henry Winchester, so she has picked up a few little things because again Josie is in the body, so she still shares memories. But again, she didn't share that memory when the boys fucking did it with Henry, but hey. Gadriel's a traitor and a patsy, he has no honour, he killed Kevin. Yep. Sam doesn't want Dean to touch his bone all the time. How dare you shame him about playing with his toys, Sam? Shame on you. Abaddon, Crowley and Dean with his magic bone and is still no match for Abadoosh. Oh, is Dean going to jizz? Oh, his arm lighting up. Has he picked his preferred Pamela? I think so. Awesome Jedi Winchester feels here. Here he comes, stabs his Abadoosh, and he looks like he has a hell of a finishing face. He becomes a maniac and with the magic bone and stabs the shit out of her. Sam is telling him to stop, but the feeling of him being one with his bone, he couldn't help himself and he couldn't stop. He did not want to stop touching his bone. No, no, no. Crowley said I sense drama when Crowley mentions the Winchester danger word. Crowley doesn't want his son to go back to his time as he will die, showing he cares so a bit of humanity and feelings, as he puts it. Crowley says this and now he's 3 feet to the wind. Remember when you take someone out of their time, what happens? It's like when Balthazar stopped the Titanic from sinking so he didn't have to hear that song by Celine Dion playing a few seasons ago. Then all these people started to randomly die because they weren't supposed to live because the people in the Titanic survived instead of dying. So pretty much taking one person, he thinks that one person won't fuck with the future or the past or what's going on right now in the present. But that usually does happen, that people have to die because they're not supposed to be here. Look at me getting all fatherly. Crowley to Kevin as he's told him what would happen if he went back. Oh, Sam, you obnoxious cock. You have each other's back, huh? Not going to look for Dean when you get saved from hell, letting him be turned into a vampire for Granddaddy. Don't look for him or a way to bring him back from purgatory or hell. Don't make me laugh, Sammy. You are all for you and not for anyone else. You're basically Crowley and Metatron for that matter. Sam wants to lock the blade away somewhere safe, and Dean's response is no. Good for you, Dean, and good answer. He just says no, nothing else. Have you felt that we are on the way to the finale? Because I haven't. It kind of disappeared after episode 11. But hey, recap talking about the blade this way. This episode is called Stairway to Heaven, not the song by Led Zeppelin. Castiel, new god, new dictator. Remember from the past, don't make us relive it. Once was enough. Metatron and his plan and his story, blah blah blah. So they're in an ice cream parlor and some Karen sticks her nose in, and this kid is possessed by an angel, by the way, and she's eating a fucking like banana sundae split thing or whatever the fuck it's called. And this Karen is talking about how terrible it is that she's in here without her parents and how her parents should be ashamed of herself. Just get involved in other people's business as Karens fucking do. Then she flashes her blue eyes as a guy comes into the ice cream parlor with this crazy sigil and blood that he's carved into himself. And he says, I do this for Castiel. And then he's stabbing himself with the angel blade and taking out everybody and anything around. And this is happening all through this episode. And we see Tessa, who's been a few episodes, she's actually a Reaper, and she is now Team Castiel. Now, they think they're doing right by him. It sounds like a cult that Castiel's got and not a fucking army. There's a woman called Anna who basically has set in command, and she's obviously getting more and more angels to come over to their side. They've got people who were fighting each other a few months ago who are now actually fighting together because they want to go back home to heaven and they want to take out Metatron because Metatron is what they did. They have forgiven Castiel because they realise that Castiel wasn't actually behind everything. He did things that Metatron told him to do. He wasn't actually doing these things because he knew it was going to happen. He thought he was actually going to reset things. It did, but not in the way he thought because Metatron was telling him something he wanted to hear, because Metatron has a way of doing that because he's a dickhead. So yeah. Dean decided because he has the mark that he gets to make the decisions. Shut it, Sam. Let him get some of the powerful bones. Please, we get it, you miss it, and you're jealous as fuck because it's not you holding the power and it's not you possessing, it's not you. Like you took the trials from Dean as well. Just sit this one out. Agent Spears and Aguilera is what Castiel calls Dean and Sam. Remember, because they use like Lemmy Kilminster and all that kind of on Van Halen and all that shit. They've picked some terrible names, and Dean's just like, whoa, you picked them of all people for us? Because he obviously doesn't know who the fuck they are. Dean thinks it is a mass smiting because it's again majority of angels were in there, and it was an angel that actually did it. Metatron is posing in a coat like an old guy's version of coats compared to Castiel's raincoat. He's like posing in a mirror like he's Castiel. It's like, do you want to be him, mate? Or do you want to be his friend? Do you want to be like Buffalo Bill and wear him as a fucking suit? Who the fuck knows? He's an odd wee dude, man. Cass Lovefest. A mentally deficient puppy? Lol. Metatron talking about Castiel. He's such a brat, isn't he? That when he doesn't get his own way, he just has to be petty and say shit like that. They meet Anna again, like she's a bit weird, and again the whole cult of Castielas. The team splits up and now they're discussing Abaddon's death. Metatron is watching bowling, which is weird. It's because he's trying to get people to bend the knee to him or they will die. And then they end up getting taken out. A bunch of people get taken out by a angel torch. An angel bomb, basically. A suicide angel, as I've been calling them. And they're taking as many people out. If you're not going to follow in Castiel's footsteps, then you will die. which again, instead of converting them over to your side, you're just going to kill them and everybody around you, including humans. Nah, that's not what Castiel wants, and that's what Castiel, again, he's not like that in the slightest. He wants to save people, he doesn't want to hurt people. Apart from when he's possessed by Leviathan, he's a dictator. So boring this episode, I did say that I may fall asleep. I had binge watched a few episodes when I actually did this episode yesterday, so yeah. We have Angels taking out the opposition, stating it's all in the name of Castiel. Because 789 and Doors Open and Castiel is good with pop culture these days. These are the surgeons that's what they actually spell out, because 789. Dean's kidnapped Tessa. There's no good God, only Castiel. What the actual fuck is wrong with her? Castiel has given these angels peace and a purpose. This is Anna's speech to Dean. Are you asking or telling Dean to Anna as she wants him to hand over the blade? I think Anna wants to bump wings with Castiel as she is his number one fan, it seems. Castiel has found the door to heaven, or has he? Or what he thinks he is. It's an old-fashioned gala ballroom from Metatron. Very dramatic yet truly Metatron at its finest. Looks like you go home alone. You got home alone as its holy fire trigger, which is what Sam says to Castiel. Tessa wants to help, and with the souls not being able to enter heaven or pass on, she feels that following in the name of Castiel will be able to reset everything, and she'll be able to go back to her job. If not, she will take herself out in the name of Castiel. To make a point in a statement that they want Castiel to be the new god. And that's taking it a step too far, wouldn't you say? Dean takes her out with his magic bone, and she thanks him. Being a reaper without souls to take to their end game, that's why she thought her life was a waste, because she couldn't do her job. Dean has been detained by Cass's people, the cult followers. Metatron has called Cass Astiel. Metatron says he did what he had to do in God's name, and he is offering amnesty. No, he's not. He's Mother Teresa with a neck beard. That's how Dean describes Metatron. To Metatron, which is funny. Castiel's followers want Cass to take out Dean, and they've kicked him out of the cult because he wouldn't pick Dean over the many. He picked a few over the many, and that's why Dean said he knew that he did not do these things with these angel bombers, or suicide angels, or whatever we want to call them. He knew that it was nothing to do with him. This was something else. We found out that Metatron actually put these people in Castiel's army, so he could basically look like Castiel as a cult leader, an extremist, a zealot, a fanatic, if you will, because they would do anything in his name. So Tessa technically wasn't working for Castiel, she was working for Metatron. And the same with every other angel that had done that. They did it for Metatron, not for Castiel. And for Castiel to look the bad guy, so his followers would move from Castiel's team to Team Metatron. Because again, Metatron can't do anything without fucking people over and killing people in the process. And angels, may I add. He's just having a temper tantrum, man. Gadriel realizes that everything that Metatron has done is wrong. And it's a wee bit too late, would you not say? Dean is calling the shots, and this is a dictatorship, not a team. Well done for pulling rank on Sam, finally, because he fucking deserves it, the prick. You still have us. Castiel's face, oh god. But he asked, do you think I could do this? He says no. Do you think us three is enough? It has been in the past. That's right, you have saved the universe from the apocalypse multiple times with less than an army, so it is possible. Gadriel has appeared in the bunker and has admitted Metatron was to blame for it all. Killed Kevin. Dean puts out his hand and slashes him with a magic bone to avenge Kevin. As he promised Kevin he would before he left, kill the angel that was possessing Sam that took his life. For Kevin, for Linda, for them all, for everyone. Kevin meant something to them because that's what you do for the ones you love. You avenge them. Did this last death by the magic bone push Dean over the edge to full-on vengeful Cain? I think he's getting there. Has this made Dean become the ruthless killer Cain spoke of? Again, I think he's getting there. Has the blade completely bonded to Dean now? Again, I think we're getting to that. I think that's what will be the climax, or the climactic event in the next episode, because we're on the last episode. This is the only build-up we had, was when he's using the first blade and the bond between him and the first blade. Will he be able to control his humanity now that he's become bonded and paired with the artifact? Because you become a demon. Basically, you are a demon. You are like a soldier with the mark of Cain. So this is episode 23. Do you believe in miracles? It is the finale. This is the finale, but I didn't feel like it was. I did feel episode 11 was the closer to the climax than this was. This is a season cliffhanger, like they done before in earlier seasons when it looked like they weren't sure if the seasons were going to continue, because again we're in that sort of way where TV shows, it didn't matter if they had legacy TV shows like this that were more than say 3 or 4 seasons, you still weren't safe if you weren't getting the viewership, it seems. So it felt like they were tying up loose ends, but then they created a few more at the end of this episode, so they would have to get a renewal. They've done it before. They brought back some old characters, they killed off a few, they tied up some loose ends, they created more plot twists and holes. Let's see how this pans out, and they seem to have a pattern. The recap, the road so far, a roundup of all 9 seasons in a bite-sized flask. Here it goes. Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas, the anthem for the finale. So last season, Sam dying after the trials and Gadriel hearing his prayers. Kevin's death, the fall. The Grace of Castiel being taken, long live the Queen Abaddon. And Crowley and Kane tricking Dean to get the mark so he can use him for hell. Metatron wants to be the hero of the story he created. He created death to his brothers and sisters who ignored him, so he created hell on earth. First from tricking Castiel, stealing his grace, and the fall of everything and everyone that got him to where he is now. Manipulating everybody, and only when it's too late are his followers realising he is a false god, and he has killed so many angels and humans along with it, as he wanted to be God, and angels are dicks. We have warned you about this in the past, and you see the factions fight over who will be the new God. It's been a lot of wahahaha behaviour from eternal beings, but hey. Secret portals on the move, Metatron using the power of the Heaven Tablet to power himself, yet he's a wee weasel who cannot do things fairly. He has to do it through manipulation, greed, envy and hate. Now, drop the blade, Dean. Be like Elsa, Dean. Let it go. Do what Sam says, or don't. Dean is very angry. Metatron is only answering to God, not his name. Again, this is a boring as hell finale. I hate all the Metatron storyline stuff, because you're basically just repeating the fact that he's a wee cock who deserves to fucking die. Such an attention-seeking little shit. So Angel Radio, Metatron is saying he's leaving heaven and the doors will be closed and they'll remain closed until he returns. Dictator. Crowley is getting a massage and he says if he wanted a soapy massage from Dr. Phil, he would have dialed 3 on the speed dial. Then Dean summons him. Since killing Abaddon, he needs to kill, and the mark controls how you feel, and the more you kill, the better you feel. If you don't kill, then you feel like shit. Crowley is telling him what he wants to hear. Gadriel has said that Dean is the best chance because of the mark, because of the weapon and what it can do and the power it yields, basically. So the power of the tablet is being harnessed by Metatron. If they break the connection, then he becomes not a normal angel and Dean can take him out because it will be much easier, as he doesn't have the power of the tablet, which is a god power. Metatron poses as a homeless man and heals a woman who's been hit by a car, and he actually caused her to be hit by the car, by the way, because Metatron doesn't do things by chance. He's planned it because he has written it. He has said that before. So he's such a wee douche that he caused someone pain to take it away so he could look like he was this martyr, this saviour. And then he gets his own followers of humans, this homeless community that literally fight in his name because he keeps healing people and filming it so the guys can see what he's doing. He's a complete cock. Wants it for attention. Again, if you do a miracle, you would do it and you wouldn't want to be praised for it, but that's what he lacks in a god and a leader. So again, Crowley and Dean go to a bar and Crowley notices that Dean's not hungry. He orders food because apparently the waitress doesn't get much tips or anything because of how, it works in the States by working in bars and stuff. Crowley notices that Dean loves burgers and food and he's not eating. He's doing something similar to what angels do. They don't eat. They don't need to eat. It's just the human inside them needs to eat. The human they're inhabiting needs to eat. That's what added up for Crowley, that something between Dean and the blade and the mark, that Dean is not Dean as he knew before the mark. He's changing, or he has changed. Don't worry about hell. Hell is fine. He's going back to Marv. The door to heaven is in a kid's playground. Gadriel is saying he brought Castiel as a prison for Metatron, and again he gets double crossed and they end up going to jail. And when they're in jail in heaven, Gadriel realizes that the only thing he can do is become a angel bomber to take out everything. He tells Anna to run because Anna's actually in heaven with Metatron and all the outcasts who were part of Team Castiel a few episodes ago, are now Team Metatron because of Metatron's lies. And Gadriel gets his final wish, which was to die, but he took himself out to save Castiel so Castiel could escape and take out Metatron. So he does something good after all the bad he's done. Because that's him apparently getting forgiveness for saving everyone in his eyes, I suppose. But people still don't forget, they remember. To want power at this sort of level and not care, he's such a politician in this. Castiel is now Heaven's View, like I said. Metatron doesn't want humans either. He just wants acceptance as their god and from God, his peers. But he's gone about it in the wrong ways, like a true dictator. Gadriel wanted to claim his redemption, like I said, and that's why he takes himself out. For after Gadriel takes himself out and takes out the cells at the same time, Castiel goes to find Metatron. Even the angels will only hear what they want to hear and not the bigger picture. Metatron not only took out prophets and sent angels to kill other angels and took out humans in the process, he manipulated everyone around him, and his stories won't save him when the truth comes out. He's trying to act all superior, saying he can save them because he has walked among them. No, he hasn't. He created everything so he could walk among them, so he could basically be accepted on Earth. That's what it feels like. I blame you for killing Kevin and taking Castiel's grace. He's blaming him for everything. If Dean wins and Metatron dies, then the humans have nothing. And guess what? Metatron couldn't fight himself with a wet paper bag. He never gets his hands dirty and he deflects it onto others. Sounds familiar. Deflection, deflection, deflection. Castiel is trying to find the tablet, which is the source of power that Metatron is borrowing his powers from, and he cannot harness because he is not a warrior. He's the cause of the wars in heaven and on earth. Sam pulls a gun on the human homeless followers, and again, they basically think Metatron is their god, and he wants to know where he is. Dean is having his ass handed to him by that little weasel Metatron because of the harness power from the tablet he's managed to siphon off to himself, and he wonders why he's trying and why he's wasting time. He realizes he's wasting time because he knows that Castiel is in heaven and he's found it. Marv ends up appearing, an earthquake happens, and then again he disappears and he's in heaven. The angel radio that he was using at the start of the episode is still on. The microphone is on, and he says all the things that he has done and how Castiel didn't do them. He's trying to act like the hard man, like no one can take him out. The angels and anyone in heaven and the angels everywhere else have heard all this, by the way, now, and know that they're following the wrong person. They're following the person who caused this. They're following the person who wanted to do this, who wanted to destroy heaven because of his own selfish wants and needs. And they realise, oh shit, we've fucking backed the wrong horse, haven't we? So, yeah, they've taken out each other through Metatron, and now everybody's feeling guilt and having a pity party again. Dean's in a bad way again, and Sam is greeting after saying he didn't want to be with his brother, blah blah blah, and now he is being a brother. Castiel jails Metatron, but he doesn't kill him. Castiel needs his grace or he will die. Dean is dead, apparently, in the bunker. Sam is drinking whiskey, truly alone, and sad music is now playing, and he is summoning Crowley. Crowley is already beside Dean's body in Dean's room, talking to him. He said he knew this would happen and that he would get Dean back. Crowley has admitted he didn't know exactly what was going to happen. He never lied, but he didn't tell him about this one story about Cain, and he was willing to take death over the mark, so he took his own life with the blade. He died. The mark didn't let go. It was speculation, that's why he didn't tell Dean about this story. It was the cheeseburger that he realised that miracles do come true, that the man who loves food didn't eat. Listen to me, Dean Winchester, it's not death, it's a new kind of life. And open your eyes and see what I see and feel what I feel. Let's go howl at the moon, puts the blade in his hand, and then it's the end. So killing Shush puts putting Dean in a dead state, ending it as his human self is dying, but he will be reborn stronger and better. His thirst and his desires change from the hunter's life to death and destruction. To fight off demons that Crowley himself has a beef with, to be his right-hand man, even though Dean is more powerful than Crowley, but the King of Hell and the Mark of Cain making hell and demons heel tip in Crowley's favour, and fine, he knows it. And now he has a bromance through connection, not like with Castiel, a different one, with the same objective though. Is it the same objective? Because this time it's to kill. That was season 9. Oh, Supernatural, 3 hours in. Yes, yes. These take forever. Let me know in the comments below, is this your favourite season? What do you think of the butt hurt between the brothers? Do you think that they need to walk away? Do you think Sam needs to just shut the fuck up, just get on with things? And will Sam do what he does best and walk away and leave Dean, or will he actually try and help his brother and try and get him away from Crowley? Now that Crowley and Dean have a bromance, how long before they kill him off? That's what I always say. By the time they start creating relationships with other characters, especially characters who are not for the greater good, or who are actually part of Team Hell because of their monsters or their demons, they lose their life when they actually start to become human. They start to act like the Winchesters, and they start to put the lives of humanity in front of their own, but then they die when you fall in love with them. Let's see. Next season 10, double figures. Let me know in the comments below. What's your favourite line? What was your favourite Crowley moment? Are you Team Dean? Are you hashtag Team Dean? Are you Dean? Are you Team Sam? Are you Team Crowley? Team Castiel? Team Metatron? Please don't fucking say that. Are you Team Kane? Team Abaddon? Team Kevin? Let us know in the comments below if you like content like this. Remember to go check us out in the Confessions from the Darkside social media platforms, which are Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Amazon Music, Spotify, and Buzzsprout. Let us know what you think on our social medias, and let's get chatting about this topic, all the topics. Let's grow our community and spread how awesome the horror community actually is. If you want to get to know us as individuals, then you can check us out on our links below. I am Darcy Darkness, and I have a YouTube, Instagram, a Twitch, and a Kick, and my channel is Behind the Mask Reviews, and the spelling is on screen now if you have the ability to watch it on YouTube. Lunar has a YouTube, a Twitch, and an Instagram, and his name is Lunar X Rising. And if you want to reach out to us at any point, we have emails. It's confessionsfromthedarkside@gmail.com. Myself is behindthemaskreviews@gmail.com, and Lunar is lunarxrising@gmail.com. And that's, as I said, was season 9 of Supernatural. This is Confessions from the front seat of the Impala, discussion, breakdown, and everything in between. And I am Darcy Darkness, and that was Confessions from the Dark Side, and I will see you in the next one. Later.